Old School Pokemon here, back again with podcast episode number 35, joined by my usual co-host, Catch 'em All Collectibles, Dan. How are we doing tonight, Dan?
Very well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Excited for another one?
As always, a lot of content today. I did a live on my channel for 3 hours earlier, but always ready to talk Pokemon, even when I've done it for quite a bit today. Right up front, leave your questions down below for next podcast. Next podcast, we have special guest Echo-based Collectibles. So if you have a question for me, Nick, or Echo, let us know. Leave them in the comments below, and we'll get those answered in the next one. And then, Nick, if you want to cover...
Yeah, so after Dan's live stream today, he is itching to do some more live streams. So we were actually thinking on, so we do podcasts every other week. We do a special guest every other podcast, so about once a month, and then once a month we do a podcast with just us two. And so we're thinking on the off guest weeks, doing, instead of recording the podcast on Wednesday night, uploading it Thursday afternoon, we would just kind of do a live podcast on Thursday afternoon, which would be a lot of fun. So hopefully you guys are interested in something like that. Definitely let us know down in the comments below if you'd be interested in kind of chatting with us in real time versus just listening to us.
Yeah, and the way we'd likely do it, like sometimes we get inundated with questions from just people leaving the comments. Maybe we just cap the pre-questions to like 5, maybe the most liked or whatever. We do 5 from that, and then we just, because the nice thing about a live is engaging with the live. It would be nice for people that can't make it there, that are working their job and they can't hop into a live. But then it'd also be nice to just engage a lot more with the chat, have the back and forth throughout, because it is a lot of fun to do that. I'd be interested to see what viewership we could pull midday. I was shocked with what I was able to pull down today on a Wednesday afternoon. I think we'd get decent though. I mean, there's no reason that we shouldn't be able to get. I mean, if I'm posting it the same way on my Instagram beforehand, and if we both post it as a community post on our YouTube, we should be able to get a similar turnout. So
hopefully, unless people just like you more than me.
Yeah.
that'll be the true test.
Yeah, but yeah, and we don't have 1,000 subscribers, but while you're here, if you're watching anyways, feel free to hit that like and sub to get us towards 1,000. We did find out that you don't need 1,000 to do a live stream, but pretend like you do. Hit that sub button, get us to 1,000 anyways. Got to do that shameless self plug.
We're still on the road to 1K.
Road to 1K, and we're getting great viewership overall. I mean, we're getting 2,000 views an episode, and we can't get half that in subscribership. So I don't know what's going on there, but
well, when we upload a 4.5 hour long podcast, I'm sure not many people are listening all the way through in one sitting.
9%, remember? Yeah. So 9% viewer retention. Some of those people are probably 25 views by themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Chipping away at it over the span of a week or two. Oh, man. Anyways, I think that covers everything we wanted to do before the Q&A, unless you've got anything else.
No, I think that's it. Oh, I for these live streams might be seeing a little mix up in my background here. I might become a world traveler. Just ordered a green screen off of Amazon, my official Amazon Prime Day special. So that way I can actually record some of these podcasts up in my office / bedroom without you guys seeing my bed in the background.
You don't want to show off your Pokemon sheets, your vintage 1999 Pokemon bed sheets? Oh, man.
If I had some cool bed sheets like that, maybe it wouldn't be a problem.
Maybe Power Rangers, maybe like Paw Patrol. I don't know. Race car bed. It's early and we're already getting a little bit wound up.
It's gonna be a good one.
I like the way this one's headed. But yeah, with that, we'll hop right into the Q&A.
Future Nick and Dan coming at you. We actually recorded the whole podcast already and then wanted to insert this little bit here. So moving forward, every off podcast week, we're going to be doing shorts for the podcast that we recorded previously. So if you guys have any type of highlighted clip that you want us to turn into shorts, be sure to leave a timestamp to that area in the comments below, and we might feature your clip as a short.
Yeah, last episode during the ZNG Emporium guest podcast, we had Thrifty TCG reach out to us with the memeable moment of the Vivid Voltage pack. What are we doing here? So yeah, feel free to leave a timestamp below or leave a link to your clip if you're able to grab one. Shorts need to be under 60 seconds. We might potentially also do a highlight, 5 to 15, 20 minutes of a question that comes with any special interest. If you have any of those to suggest, feel free to leave that in the comments as well.
And now back to your regularly scheduled programming. Let's go for it.
So first question comes from Chatbin. Why is slab optimization not becoming more people's main goals, i.e. buying low pop PSA 10 first edition WotC hollows in PSA 9/CGC 9 and attempting to regrade? Anyone who watched my live earlier today or yesterday, I guess, when you're seeing this, I'm doing it. I know I'm not alone in buying CG, like strong examples of PSA and or CGC 8s to 9.5s. It's definitely a thing. Some people are doing it solely because they think those cards are undervalued on their own merit and like without the idea to cross grading in the future. Some people are doing it like me, where they'll crack the stronger examples and try to get that 9 or 10. So it's definitely a thing. How common it is, I don't know exactly. But it's definitely out there. Part of the reason though, I mean, some people really don't like the idea of cracking one out and regrading it. And historically, I've not done it often, but when I see some of the 10s that I sell, when I see some of the 10s that PSA's head grader upholds the grade on a 10, I have no motivation to sell cards in an 8.5 slab. In this one specifically, this is from earlier today. It's from my not crack pile because it felt like it was more likely to get a PSA 8 than a PSA 9, and it's a CGC 8.5. But yeah, like I have no motivation to sell. That's base first, so it's worth a little more. But I have no motivation to sell a WotC first edition hollow, PSA or CGC 8 or 9 for $100. I'd rather just sell modern promos or PSA 10 first edition Rocket Eevees or something like that. I just sold a PSA 10 Jungle Pikachu, the culprit that went to $1,000, way too high. It's still $160. Like, why am I going to sell a WotC first edition hollow in PSA 9 when I can sell a PSA 10 with the same amount of whitening on the back of Jungle first edition Pikachu? Like, that's why I do some slab optimization lately, because I have plenty to sell aside from those cards. And I mean, maybe I'm going to take a shot and fail. Maybe all these labels that I have, maybe not a single card upgrades. Maybe I'm a fool. Maybe it will be a fruitless endeavor, but we'll see what happens. So are you doing much of it, and what are your thoughts?
I don't do much of it myself. I've only ever cracked a few cards, and the reason why is because they were in BGS cases, and they were cards from my personal collection. I really don't like BGS, so I crack them out and send them to PSA or CGC and just have them grade it. But I did just recently, as in maybe about an hour ago at this point, buy my first CGC 8.5 that I'm planning on cracking out and sending to PSA. I actually, for those of you who watched the Heritage auctions, I won the 8.5 first edition base Blastoise for, I forget what I said. It was like 17 or 1800. And from the pictures on Heritage, it looked like it had a good shot at being a PSA 9. So hopefully that works out well for me, and I'm able to continue to do that moving forward. The biggest thing with that is just the time factor. It takes a lot of time to actually look at all these different slabs and see if they would upgrade to PSA 9s in my case or whatever. And time is one thing that I don't have much of.
The amount of money, though, like the hourly rate that you can get doing that if you do it well is massive. Like, what you paid for that, we were figuring it out before we started recording. If you downgrade to a PSA 8, you still make money.
Yep.
And if you upgrade to a 9, you make thousands for like 5 minutes. It's I've always said it. I've never agreed with the premiums between 8 and 9, and between 9 and 10 especially. So yeah, if like the inventory that I have a ton of and I can replace easily, I'm not optimizing modern promo cards. I'm not optimizing non-Halawatsi cards. I'm just selling them in whatever grade I get the first time. But I'm not getting these cards every day, every week, every month. They're not coming in that much. So yeah, I'm gonna make sure I get every last dollar out of that. I'm gonna sell it in the best label with the best number on it, the biggest number I can put on it. Whoever gives me that, if it has a dent, CGC. If it has a dent, it's getting sent. Retrospect said that in our Discord a while back. Otherwise, primarily PSA.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely the play is right now at least CGC to PSA. Or I guess in some cases, like with the Misaki cards, it could be PSA to CGC. But I don't think there's not much of a play to BGS or from BGS to PSA CGC.
Yeah, I'm not looking at BGS personally very much. I have a handful of cards floating around I need to take a look at, but I looked at one earlier on stream. It was like a BGS 9, no symbol Jolteon. It felt like a PSA 9, so it might be worth $18 to go from a BGS 9 to a PSA 9 just for the liquidity factor.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always a shot. Like there's some percent chance you get an 8, you get a bad day, whatever, or you damage it when you're opening it. Shout out to my Vileplume there, which is shredded. But there's a chance you get a 10 too. I mean, 2 cert, 4 cert, 5 cert, 6 cert, whatever you want to say. There are fresh certs that are coming up constantly that are ugly, really ugly, PSA 10s. It's always going to be a thing. And when the grader hitting that 10 instead of the 9, when that's like $1,000 or more, sometimes it's worth a second look.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, good question. I think a lot of people like do it and then don't talk about it either. I'm always one that like I'm too open on a lot of things probably. That's just the nature of the way I like to. I mean, I don't talk about everything I do, but I talk about a lot for sure. And to my own like detriment, I will like talk down on grading. I mean, I make a lot of money off these grading companies, and I talk constantly about how crazy it all is. People buy labels, but I love label buyers. Favorite people in the hobby.
That's what it's all about right there.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it's been a long time since people have actually been able to cross grade between companies, just because of PSA being basically shut down for the past year and a half, 2 years. So I think going forward, as PSA lowers their pricing, we'll probably see more of that. I would imagine mainly CGC to PSA, but it could be any type of combination there.
I have a PSA 6 Wendigo Metazoo sample that needs to get cracked to go to PSA because it's a 6 because it has like a weird indent thing on the back.
Mm-hmm.
I had a Bunnyman PSA 6 that I sent to PWCC through that CGC PWCC thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it actually ends this weekend. And it went from a CGC or PSA 6 to a CGC 9, a flat 9 with an indent on the back. Feels like it should have been an 8.5 at the most, but they're the professionals, right? High res scans at PWCC, whoever's bidding on it, you can see what you can see, and that's what it is. I mean, that's the nature of the game we're all playing.
That is true. That is true.
I didn't make the rules, I just play by them. So yeah.
That is quite the jump there.
Yeah.
PSA 6 to a CGC 9. That's crazy.
In a PSA 6 to a CGC 8 to 8.5 is going to be common. Like on my
Oh yeah.
I forget which card it was, but like I think it was a Gym Heroes. Yeah, it was an Erica's Dragonair that had a clear binder ding.
Yep.
I don't know that it'll show here. Probably not.
I can't even notice it.
Oh, it did just show.
I just saw it for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you can see it.
So, I mean, this is a CGC 8 with a 7.5 surface. So that shows you right there. Like that's an auto 6 at PSA. And this card 100%, even though it's the same card, because people don't buy cards, they buy labels. CGC 8 label will outsell a PSA 6 label every time, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Because big numbers. So, yeah. Slab optimization. It's 99% of my 95% of my slabs. I don't even consider it. I don't even look at it because I just sell them. I just move them. But like the 5% of good stuff, it's worthwhile doing it for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we covered that one. Good.
Oh. So next question comes from Matthew B. When are we going to get our PokeFlipz merchandise? Have you guys ever considered offering merchandise for your own brands? I actually have not thought of PokeFlipz merchandise. That one might be interesting. That'd be kind of fun. We'd have to work on our logo a little bit before we offered merchandise, but
yeah,
that might be kind of cool. But no, I've actually never thought of like offering merchandise for sale. I have thought of like making stuff for like in-person shows. Like I do the stickers, which I like those. That's a cheap thing that you can get done fairly easily without having it be too much of a cost. I think overall people do like the stickers. But I was also thinking like t-shirts and playmats for in-person events, just more or less just handing those out. But I looked into the cost for playmats at one point, and it's like $25 or $30 a piece to have custom made playmats. So that kind of quickly went out the window there.
Yeah. I think you'd be able to get them cheaper if you were buying like a semi bulk amount. I would think you could get them towards $10 or $15, but even like that's quite a bit of money to just give away.
Yeah, I was hoping like $5 or $10, but because really, what is a playmat? It's a piece of foam with a little printing on the top of it. How expensive are those things to make?
Yeah. Oh, like Ultra Pro must make them for 50 cents.
I would not be
tops.
surprised.
Yeah, they're probably making them for almost nothing. But yeah, me personally, like my branding is really bad.
You gotta make a logo before you can sell merchandise.
Yeah, I can't sell Sassy Charmander. I would need a logo of some kind. My logo is basically just on Troll and Toad. It's this squished horrible resolution, catch 'em all collectibles, black background, white text. And then for my MetaZoo partnership, like they wanted a logo from everybody to put on their website. I did like a better one. I did it kind of in the design of my business card. I just wrote catch 'em all collectibles, and then I had like the Charmander colors. So I had white, the line, and then the yellow.
Okay.
I'm gonna use that logo and upload that to Troll and Toad for Evo, so it looks a little cleaner, better than what I have now. Maybe long term that'll be my thing, but like I don't think anyone wants a shirt with that on it. I don't think anyone wants. I don't know what people would want with that on it. So yeah, merch probably isn't in the pipeline. Same thing with PokeFlipz. Like the Pokeball is definitely too close, and it would be infringing to some extent, I'm sure. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really see it coming down the line at all. I don't think that's something like PokeRev does the mystery packs. He has that like branded. But nobody is even like none of the big people are even doing merch, are they?
I would assume Leonhardt and Deep Pocket Monsters. I would assume they have merch.
Maybe they do.
I would think at least Leonhardt has to have something.
Let me look it up.
I don't know though. That's a good question.
It's like if they don't even have it, we have no shot.
We could be starting a trend here.
Leonhardt does actually have it. He uses Creator Spring, I guess. He has Heart Squad. His just Leonhardt logo, a couple different ways. He's got Heart Squad onesies.
There we go. That's gonna be my merch.
That's one annoying thing.
Old school Pokemon on it.
That's an annoying thing though with the Pokemon Center. Like I'm always on there buying my new sitting cuties that I need. But they don't have like stuff for kids. Like they have youth shirts, but they don't have like onesies. Like I would have 50 onesies now for my kids. I mean my son's getting too old for that now, but my daughter I could still have in them.
Well, little toddlers aren't the age demographic for Pokemon. It's ages 6 and above.
Well, there's a lot of people at that age where they have kids now, so we want to adorn our toddlers in the finest Pokemon merch. Look at this. I'm just on here on
That's pretty cool.
Here's Leonhardt's merch if anyone wants to buy that. But yeah, look at this Pokemon Center. It's a $350. It's like a massive. Look at that.
That actually, wow, that's huge.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool.
$350 though. That's pricey.
That is pricey, yeah.
But yeah, no onesies over there.
Oh, that's you got to make the market for it.
It's not gonna be me. I'll follow somebody else. I guess Radar John actually he did hats. There's a few people out there doing things.
Rattle did hats. I remember
Rattle
that.
did hats too. Yeah, I guess there's a few people doing different kinds of merch, but
John did coffee mugs too, which sounded like it was a disaster. Because
really? I don't even think I knew he did those.
Well, he was talking about him in one of the. I think it was back when him and Squeaks were together, and he was saying how he went to ship out some of them, and they like all arrived broken.
I used to sell a lot of beer steins, and those are dicey. Got to be careful with those for sure.
So I guess if we do ever get into merch, we'll have to avoid coffee mugs.
Yeah, we'll go for something more durable. But yeah, I think that covers that. Matt did have another question, so we'll go into his next one. Do we have any plans for specific subscriber milestones? Did I do something for 1,000? I think my 1,000 came during the Christmas thing we did, the giveaways. So I think
that was your first live, actually, wasn't it? What you did your first live for some special occasion.
I did my first live for 1 year on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
And it was, I probably did it with 12 or 1300 subscribers. Maybe it was closer to 1,000. So I think the timing of that was right around 1,000. But yeah, as far as like, I'm coming up on 2,000, should be pretty soon, sometime in the next month or so, hopefully. I think I'm I'm a little over 1,900, and I'm adding like my last 28 days is like 180, I think.
Man, you're killing it.
It could be a couple weeks, who knows? It might actually time with my second live stream. I'm my second solo live stream, I guess. Because I'm probably gonna do one soon for quitting my job. It's been just about a year now.
Oh, that's what because you were talking about that in one of your videos. I was going to ask you, did you ever go back and look at the date?
I think honestly, today, like the 13th. Let me go back to 2021. The 13th was a Tuesday, so it wouldn't have been that. My 10-year anniversary, though, at my company was like July 11th, 2021. And I put in my 2-week notice like 3 days later or something. And then I put in a 2-week notice and they like sent me home after a week. And they paid me for the 2. So it was like
nice.
They gave me an extra week of vacation basically.
You'll just have to scroll up on our Facebook messages for a year.
Yeah, I need to. I know I definitely messaged people about it. I definitely called people, so I'll have to go back through my phone and find the exact date. But I'm gonna do that soon. Like I could go off of like I think the day that I put in my notice is really soon. Like it's not gonna be then. It'll be off of my last day of work or off of like the last day I got paid, because I did get paid for like a week after my last day. So yeah, that'll kind of align with like 2K subscribers. But as far as people do like Q&As, people do giveaways, people do, I mean, what else do you do? I don't really know. I don't know what I'll do when, other than that one that's coming soon, which will accidentally align with 2K, hopefully. Do you have any big plans for big milestones? Are you like right near one, or?
I'm actually right next to 3,000 subscribers. It's funny. You'll probably get to 2,000 before I get to 3,000. I'm at 2,985 subscribers.
Head over there and hit that sub button for Nick.
But my 28-day subscriber count's down to like 45.
Ooh, we gotta pump those. Come on, go.
Well, it's been a month without any type of content, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, that's pretty well for
45.
That's pretty well for no videos.
But I was thinking I want to do, because I completely skipped over 2K. I did something for 1K. I forget what I did. It was like a giveaway, I think, something like that. But I definitely do want to do something good for 3,000. That's a cool number right there. And as far as what I want to do, I have no idea. I feel like the Q&A is, because we do Q&A on here on the podcast, so I feel like that's kind of eh.
Do your first live.
First solo live, that might be a good idea. That might be something fun to do
with your brand new green screen.
There we go. I gotta figure out how to use that. So don't hit that subscribe button on my channel.
You can in Zoom. Zoom has a built-in thing that lets you do it. I don't know if StreamYard does.
The Zoom one, you can. The Zoom one, it's like glitchy if you move.
It's glitchy because we don't have a green screen. Like we tried it without green screens. We screwed around for a little bit before.
Okay.
It's glitchy because you don't have good contrast between you and the background. Like right now, my shirt is so close to my wall. But if you had a green screen behind you, I'm sure the Zoom one would work better.
Okay. Yeah, no, your live definitely made me think about doing lives at some point, because they do seem fun for sure.
Rusty's doing them now too.
Have been a lot of fun interacting with the chat in real time.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing these live as well. they're fun, and then they're like lower in some way. Like you don't have to go and download the video and upload the video and edit it. Like you hit the go live, and then you're going, and then you hit the end. There's no clipping. There's no not that we do much editing, but there's literally zero with a live, which is nice. So that's handy. But yeah, 2K will align with my live. What will be my next one that's worthy of doing anything? I don't really know. I don't know that my channel will ever get to 5 or 10, or we'll just have to see. It would be cool to get to those, but
It'll happen with your consistent uploading. It'll definitely happen.
I need to figure out a new. I kind of want to work in a weekly or an every other week live now, because that was a lot of fun. And midday, midday is nice because it doesn't eat into family time. It doesn't eat into like after 9 p.m. the kids are in bed, but that's usually when I hang out with the wife more, and so it doesn't eat into family or wife time. And just like I wasn't very productive. I cracked like 40 slabs in 3 hours. So productivity goes down to maybe 25%.
Yeah.
But if you do a 3-hour live stream, you're still doing almost an hour worth of work. You're only losing 2 hours, right? So, and the thing is, like when we do these like this, I lose time because tomorrow I'm going to sleep in some.
Yeah.
I'm sure you sleep in some too. So like if we do it a Thursday afternoon at 1, it's going to kill half a day of work. But then the next day I'll wake up on time and I'll start my day normal.
Yeah, exactly.
So it will be nice. But yeah, maybe I'll chuck a couple giveaways in my next live stream. We'll have to see.
Yeah, no. The giveaways in the live streams I do like. Like the way that Rusty's been doing his. I think that's a good way to do it.
I haven't been able to watch
Yeah.
his last couple, but I need to go back and look at him just to see how he was doing it. I know he had something set up where every X amount of likes, every X amount of subs, he was doing more.
Yeah, he was doing I think it was 100 likes or 20 subs. He'd do another giveaway, and I think that's a good way to do it. Because then you're like rewarding the people who are watching your stream versus just letting anyone on YouTube comment on your video and be entered in the giveaway.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to look into that. Couple good questions though from Matthew. I'll read this one quickly because I paraphrased it pretty heavily, but you'll go first.
Go for it.
So Promo Hunters asked about the future of companies potentially grading booster boxes and proposed like 2 potential scenarios, ways that they could grade them. One of them being, and I don't know if you're familiar with this, but PWCC, all future boxes that they sell, they open them on video, they verify the packs, they make sure everything's good to go inside, and then they close it, they reseal it with like 3 or 4 PWCC stickers. And they auction it off as verified genuine, but it's resealed, essentially resealed, but resealed by a trusted party on video. So that's like method 1. Rusty similarly did one, and then the one that he sold to Logan Paul, and then 2, authenticating it, sealed, and giving like a percentage on how sure they are that it's real. And I'll let you answer this first. I went into it a little bit with number 1, but yeah, what are your thoughts on opening it and verifying it and resealing it, or just like saying we're 95% sure this one's real?
I do think what PWCC is doing right now with the opening the box, checking the packs, and all of that stuff, I do think that is going to become kind of the new normal, especially with all these reseals. We had the expedition box break on Whatnot, and then just recently, I think it was Charizard King on Instagram or maybe he just shared the story. But there was a first edition Neo Genesis box that someone bought off of Heritage that turned out to be resealed. So I do think more and more of these like consignment places that do consignments, PWCC, Heritage, Golden, all those places, I do think they're going to be getting more and more into actually opening the boxes, checking the packs, and resealing them with tamper-proof stickers, just like that one. I was actually going to say I'll be curious to see where this one ends up, because I do think when you actually open the box and put those stickers back on, I do think that takes away a good portion of the value, because you are going to have some people that want to purchase the box being factory sealed, and now you really can't do that. You're still getting the same contents, but that seal does matter to a certain percentage of people who are looking to purchase the box. Especially now that we're kind of back down to normal pricing. You can. I was pricing my. I bought the first edition fossil box off of you, and I was pricing like selling it as a booster box versus opening it and selling it as packs. And right now, with the way the auctions have been going, you can do better opening the box and selling the individual packs than you can selling it as a sealed box. So
Yep.
people who are looking to get sealed boxes for that reason, just to have them as being sealed boxes, are able to get them for a good price now. And I'm sure there's people looking to do that, to add them into their collection and whatnot. So it'll be interesting to see what this PWCC auction does. Because this is the first one that we've seen on PWCC anyway.
Yep.
And then as far as the second one, where they're actually grading the sealed box, or kind of giving a percentage of how much they believe in the box, that would be the ideal scenario. I think that would be a very, very popular option for a lot of people. But I don't think anyone's ever going to be willing to actually do that and put their name behind these boxes, especially with how good the reseals are getting right now. Like especially with first edition base, Shadowless base, where it's the clear wrapping. But even when you have the WotC logos on it, it's becoming really tough to definitively know this is real or this is fake. So I don't even if it was saying like, I think this box is 90% real, but there's still some type of chance that it is resealed, I don't think anyone would be willing to kind of put their name behind that type of service.
Yeah, because then how does liability work in that instance? Like, if they're 90% sure, are they going to pay anything out? Is there any financial guarantee behind it? Or is it like, we're 90% sure, but you're on your own if it doesn't pan out in that 10% instance? I have no idea. To me, I've never bought a box that expensive with intent to like keep it sealed. So I bought recently a base unlimited box, a rocket box, a jungle box, a fossil box. Like, I bought a lot of boxes recently solely to open it, sell some heavies, sell some lights, or to sell unweighed packs through Troll and Toad. And the money, there's more money there, and grading some packs. And so yeah, to me, like, I'm not a sealed collector by any means, but to me, I'd rather buy a box that has been verified. Like, if I want to keep one sealed for whatever reason for the future, I need to know that it's real. Like when Rusty sold that box to Logan with the, like, a 360, 380, whatever that was, $1,000 box. I'd much rather have Rusty having verified it with stickers on it and signed it than to just YOLO it on a good looking one that I was going to keep sealed. And imagine 10 years later when it's whether it's $200,000 in 10 years or whether it's $1 million, going to open it and then it's fake. Just too much risk. And again, to me, I don't care about PSA 10s. I don't care about original seals. Like, I'm not the typical guy in many ways. I can understand that a lot of people wouldn't like that. They want it genuine, but then you've always got that risk that it's a bad box. Like, and you can do, oh, well, they verify it with an authenticity score and they do like a write-up on who are the prior owners, and sometimes they'll have that information and sometimes they won't. But at the end of the day, you always have that suspicion. You always wonder. So I just don't touch sealed product that's that old, personally. Only to immediately open it. So that's where I'm at on that. I feel like I've heard rumblings that PSA is going to start to do it. Have you heard anything or no?
I have not. No, that would be very interesting if they did.
I forget where I heard it, but like the first thing my mind goes to, and it's really stupid. What would an Evolving Skies box do? Like, how much money would it cost? One, are they only going to authenticate it? Because if they grade it, people get really silly buying graded plastic.
Oh, graded boxes would go absolutely insane.
My first thought would be I would send a case of every modern booster box I have, minty ones. I would grade 9 or 10 out of 10. Like they'd probably be on more like or maybe they wouldn't. Maybe PSA would just do a 1 to 10 scale. Like like say it costs $50 to grade a box or $100. You know, a PSA 10 Evolving Skies box would go for like 500.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
So it would just make like another way to going back to last podcast, another way to just, so yeah, I probably wouldn't do much with like super old ones, but I'd probably play some amount of that modern game grading super ultra modern boxes, and it would just be stupid. But if the market demands it, I'm going to supply it. So yeah, I don't know.
Modern might be tough though with all the bad wrapping jobs they do.
Oh, so you're saying
there's sometimes where there's like no good boxes.
I just hear low pop and I see $signs when you say that. 1 out of 100 are going to get the PSA 10. So the pops are going to be ultra low pops, and sealed boxes only get opened, and so they only go down. And I mean, the pop can go up, but like every day there's less boxes out there to be graded, and it would be a new wave of sealed graded investing.
I would love that if they did something like that. That would be awesome. But
it would be hilarious.
I can't see it happening anytime soon. I think PSA is good enough on their plate.
It would be hilarious. I hope they do.
I would actually love it, both from a seller's perspective and a collector's perspective.
You would collect?
Oh, definitely.
Ultra modern or like old ones?
Oh no, I would just do modern stuff. Like as I grade them, keep like one of each 9. I think that'd make for a cool collection. I would 100% do that.
You're crazy. It would be expensive. I feel like it would have to be like, you can't send out 300 boxes to be graded at once. So like what's the most you're going to send, and how are you going to pack? Like you might send, if you package them really well, individually boxed inside a bigger box, what can you send? 10 at a time? That's going to be a big box already.
Yeah, exactly.
So just shipping both ways, and then the actual grading fee. I feel like round trip shipping plus the grading fee, you're going to be minimum. If they're grading them for 50, you might be looking at 80 or something. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say probably double that with shipping.
Like,
depending on where you live. Like, for us, it's awful.
Right now they're grading packs for 50. Long term, they might get back to 25 for packs. I feel like boxes would be 75 to 100. So like maybe best case scenario, it's 100 all in with shipping both ways and everything. So you're gonna grade an ultra modern box that costs 80 for 100.
And you could people would definitely buy it.
Oh man, it's kind of sickening to think about it, but you know what would happen. The first box, PSA 10, Pop 1 Evolving Skies booster box, $700.
I would not be surprised.
And then 600, 500, 400, and it was still crazy margins. What a world we live in.
No, people have been talking about that for so long, and obviously it's becoming a bigger issue now with all the resealed boxes and all that stuff. But where people have been talking about it for so long and nothing's happened, I can't see a day where that does happen, where some company says they are going to start grading and authenticating booster boxes. I think it's going to be more like option number 1, where they more and more just get opened and verified.
And do you think that would ever have a premium?
Opened and verified? I do not. No.
So you think it would always be less?
I'm not going to say less. I think they could be similar prices if that becomes more accepted, but I don't think it will ever reach a point where the opened box sells for more than the sealed box.
I think such a large portion of these boxes are being sold to just breakers. So I think a lot of breakers would actually like it. Because
that is true.
They're less likely to waste their time and tie up $10,000 or more for a month or two or longer.
I'd be curious to know, like, what percentage of WotC boxes being sold are going to breakers versus going to collectors, investors, people who are keeping the sealed product.
I don't know. I know everyone I buy is getting opened. But yeah, how many people? Like I think during the peak mania, like I know PK has mentioned a couple times. I think that PokeRev was one of the buyers of a base set box at like 30. But it's because he broke it for like $1,000 a pack or whatever. Like he made thousands of dollars immediately breaking it. And I think a lot of those Twitch streamers were doing it. There was a lot of people breaking at like crazy prices, crazy prices. But there was a margin there, so they did it.
Yeah,
pretty low risk thing when you have a whole box pre-sold at some exorbitant number, and you can just make a few grand breaking a box in an afternoon. I don't know. There's a lot of this stuff still out there. It would be fun though. It would be fun to like see the pops and see what amount get graded and how quickly they get graded, and it'll be interesting if anyone starts doing it.
It would definitely be interesting. That is for sure.
Good question. Pokey Martin asks, what's one solid piece of advice you would give each other to make your Pokey businesses more efficient / successful?
Oh boy, this is going to be the end of the podcast. We're going to get into a major argument and hate each other after this one.
Everything you're doing it wrong. It says one solid piece of advice. I mean, the easy one is like actually post to your YouTube, which you did just post for the first time in a month recently. YouTube is nice because not at both of our levels, ad revenue is so low, affiliate revenue is so low, but it's something. There's something there. I know at my channel size between both, I'm making a few $100 a month. Very widely varying though. It can be nothing for a day, and then it could be $20 or $30 some random day. But I guess that's the main one.
I'm surprised. I thought yours was going to be get rid of bulk.
The other one, if value your time more and think through some of your 99-cent singles. Do they actually make sense? I know you did that one video which I really liked when you used to make content. with when you figured out basically your hourly wage for doing consignments, and it was
that was surprising.
It was solid. Like, you are not making that on some of your bulk listings, and like so maybe focusing more on every aspect of your business that you do. And I haven't done this either, so I guess this is probably good information for me. But like, figure out your hourly rate on certain things, and then decide if they're actually even worth it. Like, you're making margin, you're making money, but are you making $10 an hour on certain things? Probably not worthwhile. So that would be my main. I guess I gave you 2. So feel free to give me 2 or 5 or
2 for you. Let me pull up my list. I got a long running list. No, my first one for you would be branding for sure. Gotta get rid of the Charmander. Hate to say it, Dan.
Man, I love that Charmander.
No, that was one of the best things that I did. Was well, I didn't do it. Someone else reached out to me and asked if I wanted a logo, and I said, yeah, sure. But that was the best thing that I did, was to have an actual logo instead of some Google image that I found and thought this was cool.
Yeah, you used to have Ash and Pikachu, right?
Yeah, yep. Pikachu on Ash's shoulders. I gotta find my see if I can find my old business cards.
I might have one right here. Let me see.
There's a third one after my second one. You're too much of a hoarder.
I only have your new ones here.
Oh, they must my old ones must be in some tote.
I definitely have. I have at least one somewhere, and I got your stickers.
But no, branding is a big one. And then I don't know how much it would actually. I loved those.
and I got the Nikachu, and I got the Snordan. Shout out Ernesto.
Oh man. Yeah, I thought he was playing favorites over there, because you got yours like 2 weeks before I got mine.
Yeah.
But my second one, which I haven't checked your eBay store in a while, so I'll be curious to know what your new layout looks like. But your old item descriptions are god awful.
Wicked bad.
So I don't know how much item descriptions affect like selling on eBay, especially nowadays where most people are buying off of the app, and getting to the actual description is
no one reads descriptions.
Process.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much it affects it, but as a pet peeve, that would be my other one for you.
You're talking about the one where I put something about New York buyers paying sales tax, right?
Yeah, and it's like all like one big paragraph with like size 10 font.
The formatting was terrible because I tried doing like a bulk edit. I actually have a video partly filmed. You used to be able to only do 500 listings at a time. I was bulk editing the other day, all 1,000 of my listings. And you can do like it used to be, you could only find and replace, or you could add to the end of your description. But now you can do a full swap. Like you can type out a whole description. Yeah. It's the new bulk editor is awesome. I think I got rid of all my old listing descriptions, but I'm not positive. Because I did last week and this week I did a total revamp. Like I did a full inventory of my eBay store, pulled everything down, put it all back up.
That takes a lot longer than you'd think it would, but it makes it nice for the next year or so.
Yeah, because I have a full shoebox and then some. I had over 100 cards that were interspersed throughout my inventory that were not listed on eBay. Mm-hmm. So like they were never going to sell. And some of them were decent too. Like none of them were crazy, but it's right behind me because everything's always a mess. But yeah, there was like random. I mean, here's a reverse hollow EX PSA 10.
That would have been nice to have for sale.
Yeah, a lot of just like junky stuff, but I don't know. Whatever. A handful of decent things too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Now I'm gonna roll over them in my chair, crack the slabs.
Crack them all.
I'll find a new way to crack slabs with my chair wheels.
Oh man. No, I think like a yearly inventory is important because I did mine a month or two ago, and there was a decent bit of cards that I either had listed on eBay that I didn't have anymore, or like you, I had them listed, or I didn't have them listed on eBay, but they were in my eBay inventory.
Yeah, like mixed in with the other stuff. And one thing I did too, because I hadn't done one in like 2 years, I had a lot of prices I had to slash 50%. If I did it more frequently, like say I did it a year ago, like peak boom was like a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. So had I been doing it every 6 months, I would have cut the prices sooner, and I might have sold like the same cards for thousands more overall, like not one slab, but like across many. Because I had some PSA 9 Topps Chromes that I had listed for like 150, and I was selling some for that. I had some PSA 10 Topps Chromes that were listed for like 250, and they used to sell for that, but now the 9s are selling for like 40, and the 10s are selling for like 100 to 150. Well, like 60 to 150, depending on what they are, and the 9s are like 25 to 50. That's part of the reason that I might send like all these at 18, but probably not, because they're probably going to continue down from there. But yeah, had I done an inventory 6 months ago, I would have had a lot of those selling before they fell an additional 40% or something. Because since I finalized my inventory, I had a lot of that type of card sell. Like I shipped 50 things earlier today, just because more things are selling because I have the same amount of listings I used to have, but they're all like fresh, up to date prices. So naturally, they're gonna move. And
that's another thing. You do notice an increase in sales, even like if you like keep the price the same, but you edit something in the listing. You definitely do notice an increase in sales.
Like they push it back out a little more.
While.
Yeah. It's like YouTube, like the almighty algorithm. Nobody knows exactly how it works, but you got to like feed it to. So yeah, that's definitely doing inventory. I guess that's advice we can give to each other, that we both know we should do it a little more often. The thing in like in a rising market, your items will just sell.
Yep.
So like when the prices are going up, there's no need for adjustments. If you have some like a handful of key big items, like I've got maybe 8 Art Academies listed in my store. If we see a big auction and I catch it first, I might go through and increase my prices. But what happens, say one goes crazy and it's real though, someone might come through and buy out all mine. So like when the prices are heading up, I remember in 2020, everything was just sold. I had one point where I had like 100 listings left.
Man,
because everything was selling. If you like certain items of mine, I might have them listed at 2 times. I'm lowest on eBay, buy it now, but I might be 2 times the last auction. Well, in 2020, everything went 5 or 10x.
Yep.
So like if I was originally 2 times the auctions, 1 week it doubled, so they sold. And then I listed more and it doubled and then it sold. And like you couldn't keep anything then. But now my first inventory in 2 years, I mean, I cut some prices from 200 down to 40 because that's what they're cards that I had no cost basis in.
Yeah.
Not like I'm losing
You'll
money.
still make money off of them.
But if I had caught it, like I listed at 200 when I was lowest. If I had caught it at 150 and I listed for 140, I could have made an extra $100. Like
Yep.
me slacking there cost myself some amount of money for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It is what it is, though. I guess next time around, I'll have to be. I'll have to put it on my Google Calendar to just remind me, like at least once a year. I think is reasonable. Every 6 months would probably be better, though.
Yeah, it definitely the more frequent the better. But it just takes so long.
Too frequent is definitely a thing. I mean, if nothing's wrong with, like, I'm not going to do it next week because I just did it and everything's right. But no more frequently than like 6 months, I wouldn't think. The biggest thing is you go to a convention, you forget to delist things that sell. And then the other thing is, like, if someone buys it and then wants a refund, a lot of times it doesn't auto relist. So like that's how a lot of my, like some of my items specifically I remembered. Oh yeah, I remember someone buying this and then me refunding them, and I thought it relisted, but it apparently didn't.
Yep. And then the other one for me is just sending out the wrong card. Like with Gym Heroes, Gym Challenge, there's like 2.
Yep.
I forget like which cards, but they're like back to back. One's 58, one's 59.
Yeah, 2 different Oddishes or 2 different, just some random. Yeah. Those you have no way of knowing until until the wrong card that you sent sells, and then you realize you don't have it, or until you do an inventory. That's the only way you're going to catch it. So yeah, it's something you just periodically need to do. But yeah, I think we covered that one pretty well.
Yeah, that was a good question.
Lots of good questions tonight.
I like it. Joe Schmo, I love the name. Do you think first edition WotC cards are overrated? Same artwork, 2 to 5 times the price. I do not think first edition WotC cards are overrated. I think the 2 to 5x the price of unlimited makes sense to me, just because there's a substantial, there's still a lot, but there's a substantial amount less first edition cards than there are unlimited cards. And just the name first edition, that's applicable through like multiple collectibles. Even like outside of cards, you have first edition books. Can't think of anything else, but there's first edition with a lot of stuff.
Beer steins.
There we go. So people understand the term first edition. So it kind of promotes itself to people that are cross collectors. Having that first edition stamp actually means something, whereas not having a stamp really doesn't mean anything. So yeah, I think the pricing's pretty much justified. I think that'll always be the case. First edition will always command a substantial premium over unlimited, and I do think it's justified. I can definitely see that making sense.
To me, it's like I do get it in a lot of regards. Like, I'm not a big variant guy by any means. I want one card, one art. A long time ago, I decided PSA 9 first editions, WotC. And then I did do I did all of them at one point, level X's, primes, gold stars, but I still have like all my e-reader. I like that first edition doesn't exist anymore. We've talked about that multiple times on the podcast. I never want first edition to come back. In a lot of ways, it's a fairly contrived thing. Like, I can't imagine, especially given that first edition is like a secondary added stamp thing. And then the fact that there's variants and stamps, thick, thin, I don't like all that stuff. I just like that there's a card and the card is what it is. But given the ubiquitous nature of first edition, the concept of first edition, that's what I decided to target. I understand what Joe Schmo is saying. Like in some respects, I think they're overrated, but they're always going to stay overrated. So like it is what it is. Kind of like PSA grading. In many regards. So, or not even just I say PSA, but professional grading. A lot of rambling with that, but a weird thing, like you mentioned, first edition is a lot less plentiful. There is a weird dynamic though, because in Japanese it's way worse, and I'm not a Japanese expert.
Oh yeah, when you get to Japanese, it's different.
Yeah, there are some, and I just hate that whole dynamic. Like, let's just make the cards from a given set, no distinctions. But even in English, like base first, proportionally between base, Jungle Fossil Rocket, there's less first edition base relative to unlimited in base than in those three sets. The reason behind that is originally base set first edition was designed to be 10% of the total print run, and then they ended up doing like 10 print runs. So it might be 1% of the total print run. Who knows? But I think with Jungle Fossil Rocket, they did do closer to 10% of the total print run because by then they had a better idea of demand and how much printing they needed to do. But then when you travel through the gyms, I think there's like the ratio of first edition to unlimited. There would have been less unlimited as you went on. So I guess that ratio would have went up if you're doing first edition over unlimited.
Oh, I don't know if I agree with that.
Like in the Neo sets, I think
You think
there's
there's more first edition than unlimited?
I'm not saying there's more first edition than unlimited, but the ratio.
Oh, but it's not like the 10%.
Yeah, so like the total print run in base first, it might be 1%. It might be in Jungle Fossil Rocket. I think they hit the 10% like they intended, but some of the Neo sets, I think it might be like, is it 20%? Is it 30%? I think it's a higher portion of the
Okay.
total print run was first edition. What percent? We have no way of knowing. But I think that as the demand waned from Gym to Neo and on through Neo, it's speculation. It might be wrong. But like the total print runs definitely got smaller. Neo was printed less than Jungle Fossil Rocket.
Oh yeah.
But I also think the proportion of base to unlimited, because like base through Rocket, every childhood binder, everyone through everywhere had unlimited those sets. Some people had first edition, some didn't, but everyone had those sets, tons of them in unlimited.
Yep.
Neo though, the print runs were substantially lower. Again, it feels like first edition proportions higher, but who really knows? One interesting thing I wanted to bring up with this too is like, I know a few people who are really big on PSA 10 Unlimited because the pops are so much lower. I mean, our friend Zach, Gemmint Pokemon, he needs the unlimited Neo Ampharos, right?
Yep.
Revelation, not the Genesis one. Because that's like a pop 2 or something. And I think Dark Magneton is a pop 4 in unlimited, whereas it's 60 or whatever, or maybe even more. I don't know, in first edition. So yeah, like the whole thinking behind that is first edition was preserved more. Like you see more first edition boxes selling today, even though less were produced, because 22 years ago, I think stores knew to keep the first edition boxes sealed more frequently as an investment or whatever, whereas the unlimited is what they sold and was opened. So will we see these pops start increasing like crazy once cheaper grading opens again? Who knows? That's a very frequent debate I've heard had. But yeah, at the end of the day, overrated, underrated. I think the market is fairly efficient at rating things properly, but then not really because there's always plays to be made. So yeah, overall, I think they're properly rated, but there's inefficiencies here and there, surely that can be acted on.
Oh yeah, definitely. I would agree with what you said there. Yeah, I would pretty much agree with that. I do think first edition are rated properly. I don't think they're overrated. I don't think they ever will be overrated. And I think they'll always be more popular than Unlimited, even though it's the same artwork. Um, I there's still that distinction: first edition versus Unlimited.
And I, aside from base Unlimited, because base first edition was out of reach, and I did get a really good deal on 3 Neo Destiny Unlimited boxes years ago. So aside from 3 Neo Destiny Unlimited and then a handful of base Unlimited, the only boxes I've ever bought were first edition in sets. Where, like, even today, give me a fossil box at 8 or 9. The Unlimiteds, I feel like, sell for more than half of the first edition. All day long, I will take the first edition for like 50% more or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's because people want to open first edition. Nobody wants to open Unlimited.
It's ubiquitous. Yeah, it's just even though it's only a stamp, base set I love because it's an artwork redesign totally. Shadowless versus shadowed.
Yeah.
I wish it were that for more sets. I wish it was more than just a stamp, because like from a purely like I do under like just the stamp, a black stamp. Adding, like, so many people have this negative thing on the Pokemon Go stamp, on the celebration stamp, and yeah, that little black stamp is coveted. And does it really add anything to the card? Given how much they were printing, like, when you go back to like way back in 1999, the final first edition fossil card, was that actually produced? Was the final first edition stamped fossil card actually produced before the first Unlimited one was? I kind of have a theory that like so much printing was going on in so many printing facilities that like there's a decent chance some Unlimited cards were being made the same day or the same time, slightly before the final first edition ones wrapped up. Maybe that's not the case, but like it's fairly arbitrary, I think, which ones they decided to stamp and which ones not. You kind of see it with like Shadowless, base, first edition, and Unlimited. And then there's the whole thing.
Aren't the stamps? Are the stamps always added after the first edition stamps?
It's weird because they're on the sheets.
Yeah. So I don't know how that works exactly.
I don't fully know even to this day. Like when we went to Rusty's house, I had seen sheets before with first edition, because obviously there's Shadowless ones.
Yeah.
Or not Shadowless. There's Machamp ones with first edition. And then there's the one sheet that's really interesting that Rusty has. Part of it's Shadowless, not first edition, and then the other part of it's first edition.
Yep.
So like I don't think the stamp is like a stamp. I think it's just printed on. But it's
that would make more sense, because figuring out like a stamp that could stamp all 120 cards, you'd feel like there'd be a lot more inconsistency.
way more inconsistency. But then how did Thick and Thin come out? I thought the whole thing behind that was like more ink, more pressure, whatever.
See, I feel like base set could have had like that manual, someone sitting there stamping all the cards, but then once you got to Jungle, Fossil, so on and so forth, that's when it became just printed on.
And you get the ghost stamp, and you get the cards with the ink on the back.
Yeah,
ink on the back from the stamp. So I still don't fully know how stamps were made. I probably on E4 somewhere, like PFM used to do some really in-depth things about the different print layers and some of the errors that would come up.
Yeah,
I'll need to revisit that to refresh. But another thing that comes up with having that only being the only differentiator, that whole thing that PSA was authenticating aftermarket stamps, and so did AGS, and CGC caught some. But yeah, the fact that you can just take, I mean, there are tons of cards out there that you can take an unlimited copy and you can throw a stamp on it and it makes it worth a ton more. That just lends itself well to like people attempting to counterfeit.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you can't turn a base unlimited card into a base first edition because they had the shadowless versus shadowed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like we've had some of those conversations before in our prior 34 episodes on base versus unlimited, but
I will add before we move on to the next one. Out of first base and shadowless base, I actually prefer shadowless because I think the stamp gets in the way.
cleaner
But then
look.
when you get to jungle and so on, I do prefer the first edition.
It's weird. I like aesthetically, I can see the argument for I just want to see the card with its art.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want the extra black ink. I don't know. Like here's that Dragonair.
Yeah.
Does the first edition, I guess it balances out the set logo, right? Because it's like opposite the set
Maybe
logo.
that's what it is. I never thought of that because base doesn't have a set logo. I bet you that's why I do like it. Because for shadowless, it's all about the symmetry for me. The first edition stamp gets in the way.
Yeah, like you've got the Neo logo, the Genesis logo, and then you've got the stamp to just balance across from it there. Maybe that's a thing. I don't know. But now they put the set logos in the bottom, right? So it's balanced by like the rarity or something, or the set number. I don't know. I'm just talking.
No, that's a good point. You just mind blown there. I had never thought of that.
Yeah, like brand new ones. I guess brand new ones. Well, the full arts are completely different. Yeah, like they don't have anything on either side under the box there. Like here's a random wheezing. It's down at the bottom next to the number.
Yep. Yep.
I don't know.
Which that I also like for modern cards because it makes it easier to sort through them. Just not having to like with WotC, you have to go like one by one and remove the whole card. Well, with modern, you can just kind of look at that bottom left corner.
Yeah.
But I think we thoroughly answered that question.
Yeah.
Mr. Walrus. Special delivery Charizard, $1,000 PSA 10 card. I would not be surprised if the first copy sold for $1,000. I think that's I honestly would not be surprised if that happened. Just because of how modern cards go. The first copy always sells for an exorbitant amount of money, and then every subsequent copy seems to go down in price until you hit some kind of floor. But for those of you who didn't know, which I would hope by now most people know, that Pokemon Center officially announced they're going to be releasing the special delivery Charizard. It actually, as we're recording, you can't sign up to get them anymore. So hopefully you knew before this. But if you're watching any type of YouTube or on Instagram at all, you probably did know about this.
Yeah,
and I'm excited for it.
If you were engaging in Pokemon content and you didn't know, I don't know what content you were, because I saw it in every Discord, every Instagram story, Instagram posts, a lot of YouTube videos, like
a lot of people posting about it on Facebook too.
You would have had to been trying to miss it if you somehow, if you were on vacation, if you were not engaging with content, okay. And it was a short window, only a couple days, but yeah, it is over. So you had a chance to sign up, one per person, one per account, whatever. Sometime over the next 12 weeks, if you signed up, you'll get a code that you need to add $20 to your cart, apply the code, and then it will pop the special delivery Charizard in there. And I think you can redeem it through the end of the year if you get the code. I don't know if you got in, are you entered into a lottery to get it, or if you got in, you're going to get the code. I don't know how that works.
I was surprised by the Bidoof promo. I never entered to get one, but I had always assumed that everyone who entered got one. But then there's an
I,
E4 thread where
I
there's a
entered.
lot of people who entered and didn't get one.
Yeah, I entered and didn't get one.
So I'm wondering if Charizard will be the same way, or maybe since they closed it, they kind of had a set number, and once they reached that number, they closed it. I would hope that's the case because I want one.
Yeah, but I think they intended to leave the signups open for like 6 weeks. It was like through August something that you had to sign up, and it said or until we run out, basically until like a threshold is met.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that threshold got met quickly.
Well, people have been waiting for this card for what, 2 years now? Year and a half? When did Special Delivery Pikachu come out?
And some amount of them came out to like some amount of them are out there, and some amount of them sold for like a lot of money.
Whoever bought that and didn't grade it and sell it is an idiot. I would have immediately bought and sold, graded and sold that.
And big gamble, right? Like if they never did, pretty much everyone suspected they were going to. Obviously, in hindsight, people are going to say, "Oh, I knew they were going to." Well, it's easy to say that now because they did.
Mm-hmm.
There are alternate realities where somehow, even though it was in that promotional booklet in the Ultra Premium Collection, the Zacian Zamazenta Premium Collection, there's an alternate reality where they could have just decided to never release it. But this feels like the most likely scenario where they come out with it and those people just get wrecked. I know the basic trainer. I tagged him in Discord when I saw it.
Post.
I think I tagged him on an Instagram story too, like, "Hey, 5K, I got you." Because he had mentioned somewhere, he mentioned in a podcast somewhere that he would pay like $5,000 to get one of the ones that was already out.
Which I think there was one that sold on eBay, and I want to say it sold for like 7,000.
I don't even remember. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like
it was a really high price.
I did see some go up, and was that real? Was that shield? Who knows? There is some amount of speculation out there. The image they show on here, it does say 2020 for the copyright date. So were they all printed back in 2020? Clearly some were, because some got out. Were like 10,000, 100,000, a million, however many they're going to do. Were they all printed back then and they just held them this long? So they'll still have the 2020 copyright date? Or did they only print like a sheet back then? Some got out. Now they printed all of them. Will they have 2022? Or will they still print 2020? Since all the images still show 2020, I think that's like the presumption. But it would be crazy if they came out with like 2022 copyright, right? Because then technically the ones that are out in the wild, there would be a handful of 2020. Who knows? I'm not a variant guy, so I wouldn't care. I'm not gonna go pay some crazy premium on a 2021 if there's a distinction, but there probably won't be. It feels like
I'd be surprised if there were some type of distinction like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of copyright dates, I don't know if you have anything else to say about the Charizard, but I actually sold. So the Professor Juniper premium tournament collection boxes, the milk carton ones, those had some Evolving Skies packs in there, and I've been selling the Evolving Skies packs on eBay and TCG Player, and someone actually messaged me on eBay who bought the packs, saying they had opened the packs and they were wondering if they were resealed because all the code cards have a copyright of 2014. And it's like, how does that even make sense? And he sent me a picture of the code card, and sure enough, it says it has the code Evolving Skies, and at the very bottom, copyright 2014.
Huh.
How does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody had a bad typo, I guess. I don't open hardly any modern product, but it would be interesting to just like you have more of those packs or no?
I sold them all. I wish I did because I would definitely open some.
I have some junipers kicking around. Maybe I'll have to open a couple and just compare. I have some Evolving Skies packs somewhere too. I'll have to check that out. That's
Might
interesting.
be a super rare variant.
There we go. Grade those code cards, get them sold.
Was it Pokemon Radar in your stream today? Talking about grading code cards?
It might have been, or it might have been James and Cam in our last podcast too.
I forget. I heard it somewhere. I forget where, but yeah.
Yeah, because I mentioned how I have a couple, like I have a little error box of errors that I've opened that I don't really care to sell, do anything with. I have some blank code cards, like code card errors. So now I'll have to get some of those to add to my code card error collection.
Real riveting collection there.
Yeah. I've got some crimped. I have a couple crimped code cards too, if you could imagine. Unredeemed. I mean, these are unredeemed crimped code cards. Now we're talking.
Talk about bottom of the barrel collectibles. Sorry for anyone who actually collects code cards.
Oh man. And I was just thinking too, like we did the special delivery Charizard. I don't think I talked at all about the price. Like you mentioned a little bit that so I mean this promo could be printed anywhere between 1,000,000 and 10,000. Like I have no idea where it could be. I mean it could be millions even. I don't think it would be that high because like I don't think Pokemon Center could handle 1,000,000 orders between like now and the next couple months. I don't think they do that capacity, but who knows? Maybe they do. I mean, they did like didn't they do 5,000 Master Balls?
Mm-hmm.
And they sold out. I think they took a few days to sell out. I don't think they
Yeah,
sold out.
they were on there for a little while anyway.
So I guess if they did 5,000 orders for a Master Ball in a few days, who knows? Maybe they could do 1,000,000 orders to get all the Charizards rid of. I don't think it would be that high, but like there's a big difference between what it could do. If they only printed 10,000 of it or something, that would feel really low. Like if there's 5,000 Master Balls, that thing, I think it went from retail of 100 to like 500. Like that thing went high.
Mm-hmm.
Special delivery Charizard card is going to have a lot more demand than a Master Ball.
Oh yeah.
So if they printed, because you can grade it too, and you can get PSA 10 premiums. If they made 5 or 10,000, some crazy low number, that could be thousands. Like it would be stupid in a lot of ways, but it could be a stupid number. I mean, Moonbreon PSA 10 is $700 right now, and they likely printed 50,000 of them or something. I mean, 1,000 are already graded. So, but then if they grade, like we have no idea how many special delivery Pikachus they graded. That PSA 10 is still a couple hundred, right?
Mm-hmm.
I sold out of mine a while ago, so I don't know, but yeah, I mean, this PSA 10 out of the gate, almost certainly one will sell for 1,000. The first one. Long term, it could be $1,000 PSA 10 if the print run was low enough, and it could be $100 PSA 10 if it was high enough. I mean, it could be the next Sword Shield 50 if they made 500,000 of them, because the pop will be 50,000 in 5 years if they made 500,000. Who knows? So yeah, long term, it all comes down to supply and demand. I mean, the demand's probably going to be fairly high because it's Charizard, and it's been like, it has a story behind it. It was talked about for like 2 years and speculated on. Like it's gonna go down in Pokemon like lore history as that promo that was like teased and talked about and memed on. I mean, they did special delivery Bidoof as like a complete meme around it. So the card will have a bit of a historic nature, standing out a little bit from like other promos and things like that. So it's a cool release.
Yeah, I guess like with what you were saying, if it is a really limited print run of these, it could be like the only modern card where the first person who buys it actually gets it for the cheapest price. Wouldn't that be quite a turn of the tables there?
Maybe they'll
Because
come out
we're not going to know for years how many enter the
and
pop report.
there will be a lot of speculation off the bat, though. Like in a month, say the codes start coming out. If everyone gets one, the talk out there will be, oh, they printed it so high. There will be some people that have 50. Like there will be some people that used 50 email addresses, every name they could think of. Because I don't think it said one per household. If you said, they did have a disclaimer that if you tried circumventing, if you tried getting more than one, whatever, they will cancel all your orders if they catch it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you put in for 10 of them, all to the same address, all with the same IP, like you might get none of them.
Yeah.
But if you did 50 with the right bot program, whatever, that some people surely did, you might get a bunch of them. So yeah, if everyone gets them and word goes around Discords and YouTube and Facebook that everyone's getting it, it's not exclusive enough, blah, blah, blah. But if 90% of people are crying because they didn't get it, like special delivery Bidoof, it could be real stonky. Hold on. Not financial advice. But yeah, it'll be as with everything else in the hobby. There's so many things to just speculate on and follow along with, and hopefully I get my one, and we'll go from there.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. No, I think more than likely it's gonna follow the trend of Pikachu and Bidoof,
Yeah.
where they come out of the gate hot, and yeah, exactly.
And then 5 or 10 years from now, who knows? Maybe they pick back up once the pop is kind of fleshed out. Who knows?
I wonder if it'll be something where are they going to continue this to do like a yearly thing? That'd be kind of cool. I gotta get a Bidoof now that Charizard's coming out though.
Yeah,
I got a Pikachu.
I have a Pikachu, I have a Bidoof, and that if they do like an annual US exclusive, and it's not US exclusive, it is Canada, it is UK, I think.
Well, yeah, because they're doing it because of the UK Pokemon Center.
Yep. So it's cool to get like an exclusive English language card. Because Japan gets so many Japanese. There's so many Japanese exclusives. So to get a few English is cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Last question to close it out.
Man, we're coming to an end.
Yeah.
I think this is your question.
Oh, is it? Oh yeah, maybe it is. So retrospects. How much inventory is too much? So if your cost basis, if you're buying it right and you have the money, there's no such thing as too much.
Wrong answer.
If you can get, it's all within reason. Like Greninja Gold Star feels too cheap right now. I don't know what it's at, but it's like below $2. I bought like 500 of them. That feels like plenty for now. If it goes down to $1 though, I'll buy a couple hundred more. If it goes down to 50 cents from there, like if it keeps going down, I'll keep buying until I have. Everyone says it, no one actually means it, but like I'll own them all if the price goes low enough. No one ever actually means that. So if the price is right, there almost can never be. But like in a real world scenario, highly dependent on what it is. If you're talking PSA 10, Sword Shield 50, I wish I had graded 20,000 of them because the market is bearing 30,000 PSA 10s. People bought those things for 10, graded them for, or they didn't even buy them. A lot of people cracked ETBs. I cracked ETBs, 200 of them, sold the packs to double my money on the ETBs, And then the promos were straight profit. I sold my first ones at 150 PSA 10, and I'm still selling them today for 40. So like my cost basis was 0 into the promo. I guess to be fair, I could have sold them raw. I don't know what they were going for raw out of the gate.
I
But
couldn't tell you.
but still, a year, 2 years later, having paid $750 to grade them, I'm selling them for 40. No amount of those cards would scare me because I could pop up 100 today at $40 a pop and they'd be sold out by next week. It's crazy, the demand. Ancient Mew is a similar one. Like how many there are out there, how many there are graded, and that one's not graded as heavily, but the market's just eating them all up. So certain cards have that liquidity, but if you're talking random obscure things, like if you end up with 50 one-off, even 50 of like a good, like if you have 50 mysterious pearls, there are enough mysterious pearls out there that you could have 50 of them. There could be people out there, there's probably not at this point, but there could be, given how cheap they were historically and the fact that there's probably 1,000 of them or something. If you needed to sell or wanted to sell all those fairly quickly, you're going to kill the price of it trying to do that. So like if you're fine selling one a year for the next 50 years, then it's not too much. But if you need to move that inventory in some reasonable amount of time, there is a too much for everything. So it's all on time horizon. It's all on how much capital, how much cash flow you have. It's always too much inventory if it's hurting your cash flow and you're not able to make new buys because of it. If you're looking at a pile of X, Y, or Z and thinking, I can't buy my new allocation for Lost Origins, or I can't buy this big collection on Golden, I can't buy whatever, then you have too much of whatever you bought a million of. But otherwise, if you're getting it right and it's the right liquid thing, base unlimited Charizards at super low cost, you can't really have too much. So yeah, that's my answer. It's as everything, it's not black and white. Like it depends on the card. It depends on your cash flow. It's a very, very nuanced. It's on a spectrum.
Well, now that we're done listening to Dan's lies, I'll give you guys the true answer. No, I do agree with you for the most part on slabs, sealed product, stuff that's easy to list and move. It's all about price point, how much the funds that you have available, and everything that you said. There really isn't too much on stuff like that. But where I completely disagree with you is like with my business. I do a lot of singles. WotC bulk is something that I do a lot of. Modern singles I do a lot of. But even though I'm doing a lot of those, I have a ton of them in my backstock inventory that just haven't even begun to look through them. And people come to me with, hey, I heard you sell WotC bulk cards. I have 1,000 of them. Are you interested? And I've gotten to the point now where it's like I can't buy them anymore. I bought something off of
Stop with 99-cent singles.
I bought some WotC bulk off of TCG Cavern on Instagram, and I got it a couple weeks ago. I still haven't even opened the box yet. So it's to the point where like stuff is coming in and I'm not even opening the box. So if you want to try and scam me, now's the time, because I'm not even opening your package.
Oh man.
No, so I think that's when it gets to be too much. It's just when you run out of time where you can't be where you can't be keeping up with what you're getting in and listing it. Because when you're just buying stuff and it's sitting in a box for months before you get to it, that's not doing anything for you. You need to be getting it in, listing it, selling it as quickly as possible. And that's where I want to get to. We've talked about this before. That's where I want to get to at some point. Get through everything I have right now, and get to a point where I get a new shipment in. I'm able to focus on processing that right away, getting that all listed, and then getting on to the next purchase.
So just for clarity, the guy who traded for 10,000 pins says that there's a thing, such a thing as too much.
See, that the pins is different though. The pins is just me slacking, I guess, because the pins, those were all sorted, or for the most part, those were all sorted out by the type of pin. And when there's 10 to 15,000 pins, there's only like 25, 30 different eBay listings that I'm going to create with all those pins. So that type of stuff is different because the number of listings that you're making is a little bit easier. But I say that, and on the flip side, I've had those pins for maybe a year now, and I've listed like half of them.
How many have sold? Like, what's the most sold pin you have?
I think I've sold. I sold a couple hundred at Collecticon, which was nice. But on eBay, I think I have some that have sold like 50, 40, 50. And they're groups of like 3 or 4 pins.
That's not bad.
So I'm gonna have them forever, but it's gonna be consistent inventory.
Lifetime supply of pins. So lifetime supply of pins is not too much, but like 100 of some like liquid card is too much. Oh man, that's funny.
Oh.
But yeah, I think a backlog is good because there's no day that I wake up and I like wonder what to do. I think we're both in the same boat on that.
Mm-hmm.
Like in some ways, it's like you would like to get through everything and you would like to be able to source more stuff. You would like to be able to look into editing or your background or whatever random thing. But having a backlog, like having something always to do, it's like motivation. It's like I need to unbury myself from all this, and I don't think I'll ever get to the day where I'm like wondering what to do.
I hope to get there at some point. I don't think it'll happen, but it is nice having it because you do wake up every day with something to do. But then on the flip side, you also wake up some days and look and see how much you have to do, and that just overwhelms you. Yeah. So you just go back to bed for the rest of the day and get absolutely nothing done.
I won't even put a dent in this if I put a full 12-hour day in. Like, why even work?
Exactly. And that's the worst thing about selling cards is you can work nonstop for a whole day, and at the end of the day, you look and see, oh, what did I accomplish? Well, I went through one row of one of these 5-row boxes.
Yep. Yeah, if you like, there's options to go really granular, and you with your 99-cent singles, you go really granular. At some point, I need to do like I think I have pictures taken of some Evo rejected hollow lots. Like, here's a bunch of EX era cards that are just folded in half. Here are like maybe Whatnot streamers will buy them. I don't know what to do with them exactly, but I can't sell them on my eBay. I can't sell them through Troll and Toad. I'm not going to grade them. Maybe PSA 1 collectors will wish I grade them. The old card shop, hoping I decide to grade them.
Yeah.
But yeah, like certain cards are just, you got to just lot them and move them so that they don't take up space and take up like mental capacity too, just knowing they're there.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a hoarder. I have way too many things. Some amount of them, I'm really happy with myself for having kept them. Like kind of stupid things like empty boxes. All the empty boxes I kept of like fossil and stuff that I was selling for 100 during the boom, and they're still going for like 40 or 50 bucks for people who just want to display them or whatever.
That stuff surprises me. Like I always think of Gary. He saved everything from back in the day. And what made him think, well, let me save these empty base set boxes? I open a ton of modern and I never think to save, let me save all these empty Astral Radiance boxes.
See, I've never opened too much, but like I always save one. I think the most I've ever opened in the past 2 years, like since Phantom Forces was when I came back in, and I think I opened a couple cases. I haven't opened 12 regular booster boxes of a set since then. So like if I dig deep enough somewhere, like I'm looking across the way, I see empty Fusion Strike box. I saved one of each because like I've opened one of every box,
Mm-hmm.
and I have one of every box. Some of them I opened more, so I sold off the extras. But like I probably have a box somewhere, a tote somewhere with like 6 empty Roaring Skies boxes and like 6 empty. Like I haven't opened more than one since the Sun and Moon block. So like I wouldn't have 6 Team Up or 6 Cosmic Eclipse because I only opened one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a hoarder for sure. I just came across it recently going through stuff. A full like it's a big box. Years ago, and even some recently in 2021, I was cracking 2-player starter boxes.
Mm-hmm.
I have a box with like 80 of those little Mancala beads, like the damage counters. I have a box of like 80 of those and all the empty boxes. So all the empty 2-player starter set boxes. Like, what did I do? Why did I keep those? I don't know if those go for anything.
I'm sure you could get someone to buy those.
But yeah, I mean, I have them, so I probably will. Like, I don't want to chuck them.
No, I'm sure those would go for something.
Let's see. Empty box, open, no cards, $10, free shipping.
There you go. There you go.
There's like one sold. I probably have a lifetime supply of empty 2-player starter boxes. I just gotta throw up the listing and ship one a year.
Oh man.
I probably should just recycle those.
No, put them in a big lot on eBay.
You want to buy them? What will you offer?
I'll give you 50 cents a piece.
Sold. Oh man.
No, I guarantee if you put all of them up on eBay and just get a big box, ship them all in, 99-cent auction, you'd probably get $100, maybe $200, somewhere around there. I guarantee someone would pay a ridiculous amount of money for those.
Maybe I'll have to put that to the test. Yeah, I've got to move stuff like that though. I've got to get rid of it.
See, I'm good about throwing away trash, but other stuff, no. Like I just sold a basic trainer. Actually, bought a whole bunch of like the ETB dice. I feel like those have to be worth something, so I never throw those away. I sold him 350 packs of the ETB dice.
Yeah, I've got
that I've opened, and then like the index, like the card divider things. I keep those.
Some of those do well. I think I have somewhere. I should have a box. I think I have the dice, sleeves, and dividers from every ETB, because like at one point I had Plasma Storm to Current sealed.
Mm-hmm.
I decided to sell it because I wasn't displaying it, wasn't doing anything with it, and it was a lot of money. But I also opened one of every ETB, so I still have the empty ETBs. I have every empty ETB, with the dice, dividers, and sleeves in them. Some of
Man.
the early sleeves, like I probably had 5 or 6 of each Primal Clash one. I was selling those for like $30 for the sleeves, the dice.
Sleeves? That's crazy.
Yeah, because I think people want one of every one, and the ETB's $2,000 now, or $1,000 or whatever. So how are you gonna get them? I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
a lot of them were probably open, used, played with, or open, chucked. I mean, but I have Champion's Path, Hidden Fates. I have tons of those sleeves, dice, the poison and burn markers.
Yeah, those things. Yep.
The ultra premium collection ones, though, I shouldn't even.
The metal ones.
Yeah,
Those ones are actually have some decent value to them.
Did you sell all yours yet?
I didn't open very many UPCs at all.
Yeah, I opened like 6 or 8 or something.
Man, I think I only opened one. I only opened one.
I have I've got to get these sent to Troll and Toad or something. I have 3 each of these, but I've already sent and sold a few of each. The metal dice and the metal poison and burn condition markers. I don't know what they're doing on eBay, but some of them sold like $20-something for the dice, I think.
That's crazy.
Yeah. On Evo.
Who's buying these dice and why?
Players play with them, I guess, right?
Why not get one of the like 10-cent packs that come in ETBs?
The metal ones are heavier and cooler, more premium, right?
Then get the what was the the elite trainer or what were those like the Zakia and Zamazenta like premium elite trainer boxes or whatever.
Oh yeah, ETB Plus.
Yeah, ETB Plus. Yeah.
Yeah,
those are metal dice, and nobody wants those things.
Like I see lots on eBay going for $20 with like 1 or 2 sets of dice and a couple condition markers, and like those things have decent value.
Yeah, they do though.
So stuff like that, if people were chucking them, definitely chucking a decent bit of value. Even like the Marnie sleeves, the Marnie dice, stuff like that. Because I opened a decent amount of those, broke them down to get the promos, and decent bit of value in some of that stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Especially now that like tournaments are happening again, people are actually buying dice, buying coins, buying things to play the game.
Yep.
So yeah, gotta extract all the value you can out of them, right?
That is true.
Times are tougher. Not every box is selling for triple MSRP out of the gate, so you gotta pick up all the pennies along the way.
You're gonna you're gonna start seeing me selling empty pack art sets.
There you go.
Oh man.
That's all of our questions.
That was a quick one. It's been good talking to you. Have a good night.
Not even 2 hours. We gotta get over 2 hours. We did have a couple topics that I queued up here.
I thought we were gonna. Why didn't we said we were gonna talk about PSA in one of the questions, but we never got to it.
Oh, I think we were gonna talk about it here in the Slab Optimization.
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
Cause like recently you made your first video, came out of retirement. And you have a couple more slated, right? And I had a live stream where I was cracking cards to submit to PSA at 18. Let me find PSA's Instagram so I can pull it up and give us something to look at.
I'm sure everyone's seen it by now.
It's a crazy world out there. Some amount of people are gonna be like, in the comments, they're gonna say, "Oh man, I can't believe Special Delivery Charizard happened. I missed it." Some amount, like probably at least one person out of the 2,000 that watch this, or the 500 that watch it 4 times each. I'll share this just so it's shown.
If there's anyone who's watching who hasn't seen this Instagram post or some variation of this Instagram post, please let me know.
Yeah, because like everyone did a video on it. I guess I can just show my hey, my November 2020 cards can meet my July 2022 cards.
How do
I
you
always
always see your comment pop up like right then? It must be because it's your account.
Yeah, it's my account and I'm logged in, so it's
I
gonna
gotcha.
show. But yeah, 99 likes.
99 likes. Look at that.
There you go. I'm doing. It's showing up because it's one of the most liked comments on the whole thread.
What are the replies?
Look at me go. Oh yeah.
Anything good in there?
Did they lost them or just slow AF? Because of scalping and the whole Logan Paul phase, a lot of non-collectors would buy cards and send them all in so they can flip the graded product for cash. Kind of why PSA and Beckett prices jumped up super high. Thank you for making me laugh so hard.
I like that one the best.
I like that one. I gave it the old heart there. So, oh, there's more for real, and then laugh emoji. But yeah, for anyone who didn't know, for the duration of this month, PSA is open for $18 per card. They're calling it a national special, but you can, as it says, submit from home, or you can drop off in person at the national later this month in Atlantic City, right?
Yep.
Limited time only, good through July 31st, exclusive to Collectors Club members. So you do have to pay the 100 whatever it is a year, 20 card minimum, declared value limit of 200, 199. So if you grade something that's worth more than $200, presumably you'll get upcharged. This one is funny to me. 150-day estimated turnaround time. Estimated and not guaranteed. They do have a disclaimer. I personally, they've been good since they've reopened levels. Every estimate they've given, I think they've been hitting consistently. I think this is where the tides turn. I think if you send early, like I've already sent out 120, you've already sent out some. What we send in first is probably going to be fine, but I'm probably going to send something like last minute. I'll probably send something on July 31st. I'll send an extra 200 or whatever it is. I think so many cards come in this month that the backlog grows. So PSA is actively grading 800,000 cards a month, roughly 10 million a year. I think at $18 a card, I think they get more than 800,000 cards this month.
Oh, I would not be surprised if they did.
Clearly, it's a guess. Like PSA probably won't advertise that. They probably won't be like, "Oh, hey, you guys loved our special so much that our backlog grew by 1 million cards." They probably won't say that, but maybe they will. They have been giving backlog updates periodically in their podcast. Last I heard, it was slightly over 2 million cards, and I don't know the way they're counting it. I think they're only counting like 2021 and prior, because a backlog is natural. Like you have to have some amount of a backlog just to make the whole thing work. Like you don't want the graders running out of cards. You need to have a few 100,000 cards. They're grading 40,000 cards a day, so you need to have at least 400,000 cards would be only a month's worth of backlog. So you need to have some there. But yeah, the $18 a card. I guess what are your thoughts? I kind of spewed out a bunch of thoughts there. We can go back and forth on it for a while, I'm sure.
Yeah, I was super excited to hear that PSA was opening up a sub $20 tier. I was not expecting it in the slightest.
I was so mad.
Yeah, I'm running so low on PSA graded cards. I hardly have. We were talking before the podcast. I have sub 100 PSA graded cards listed on eBay right now. So I am in desperate need for some graded card inventory. And so when PSA announced that they were going to be doing the $18 special, my initial thoughts was that I was going to send 100, 200 cards and see what happened from there. But that night, me and you, Dan, were talking about it, and that was kind of my thoughts that night. Next morning, I woke up with a completely different attitude and said I want to send PSA everything that I have within reason. So I submitted. So far, I've submitted 400 cards. I have another 200 cards ready to go that I'll be shipping out tomorrow. And then last week in July, I'll get another at least one, maybe two submissions out for to PSA. So in total, I'll have like 800 to maybe 1,000 cards sent off to PSA. And so I basically sent all of the stuff that I had that was of decent value within my grading backlog. I've sent the majority of that stuff between these first 3 submissions. The next 2 submissions are going to be a little bit lower valued stuff. I'm thinking I'll probably send some Shadowless starters, maybe some unlimited ones, unlimited base ones, and then I don't think I'm going to do any Greninjas like you, but I am thinking I'll do the Mewtwo promo from Pokemon Go, the one that came in the ETBs. I think I'll do that. But yeah, so it'll just be a little bit of everything. And the reason for me is just because I don't have anything, and I need to get some graded card inventory. And I'm definitely not going to make the same mistake that I made in 2020 with that 750 a card special. Oh, it'll be here forever. I'll always be able to grade cards at $10. I can push it off another week.
Yeah, I was not happy when it came out because I still have like 1,000 cards in from 2020, and to me, this is just going to delay things further. And I think they're going to go past, and I think they're going to not honor the turnaround time. I was hopeful that once they returned, they would be honest and be accurate with all their things. And maybe I think 150 calendar days, because that's what they're using now, as far as I know. I think the calendar days lands at before Christmas. And I just don't know if I'll actually get those back before then. It'll be really frustrating if I don't. We'll have to see, though. That remains to be seen.
I think they are doing a much better job about being open, transparent, and accurate with their turnaround times so far. So I would be. I'm going to give PSA the benefit of the doubt here and say that we will get these cards back at some point. I said December, January because I didn't know when 150 days fell, but yeah, I'm optimistic, hopefully optimistic, and I'll believe PSA until they prove us differently.
I've been hurt before, and I'm ready to be hurt again, I guess. I sent out 120. I had a video Monday. I cracked a bunch of cards today to send. I feel like if I had to guess, I'll probably end between 500 and 1,000, probably closer to 500. But like the thing is, I have certain types of cards. Like if I decide to send Topps Chrome, that alone can be 400 cards. If I decide to send WotC First Edition starters, foreign language, or WotC First Edition non-hollows, foreign language from base, that could be hundreds of cards. So like, depending on what segments I choose to send, maybe I'll just send a piece from all of them. Maybe I'll get around 500 and stop. It's hard to say. I could be, there's no way I'll be over 1,000 because I just don't have the time, I think. But 500 feels like a reasonable number. I might just try to do 120-ish a week, every week between now and the end, and then I'll squeeze some out at the end. But historically speaking, I've graded over 10,000 cards with PSA over the last 8 years. $18 is a lot, historically speaking. We'll have to see how things go over the following 2 to 5 to 10 years, but I think we'll get back under 10. Largely speaking, I want to wait to get it as cheap as possible. I don't like giving PSA $18 a card. And I do, like, counter to you, I have a lot of inventory. I have a lot of slabs I still need to list. I just did my whole inventory. I have 1,000 listings active. A lot of those have quantity. So, like, some of them I have dozens of the same card. And I have like 400 cards I still need to list. I have 1,000 cards that need to come back and then get listed. 6 months from now, it will be nice to get a new influx.
Yeah.
I do have some amount of cards. Now that I'm sending some to PSA, I'll have less to go to CGC, but I still do have some amount of cards that are optimal with CGC. So like when I do my I'm getting a bunch of MetaZoo UFO. I'm probably going to grade a decent amount of MetaZoo hits with CGC just to get them in quicker. Like 1 month at 1250 is definitely more attractive than 6 months at 18 on certain things.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then playing the whole CGC 10 game if I can hit some 10s. Premium's definitely there on certain things for CGC.
I think our modern CGC is a really good option.
Yeah.
Because you're getting them in for fairly cheap prices. And then the turnaround times are just so much better than PSA right now.
Yeah.
But
so what's your prediction as far as when this ends July 31st and August starts? Will 18 come right back? Because we went from 30. Actually, on that, before we get to that next part, how much did you send at 30 and at 50?
I'm trying to think if it was the video I uploaded today or the other day. Because I talked about this in one of those videos, and I was going to say someone's not watching my channel, but I might have talked about it in the one that I did today. So I'll give you a pass.
I think you did mention that you sent some at 30 that you wish you could like hold on to a little bit longer and then send it 18 instead.
Well, now you're just making stuff up. So I thought I just stop.
I've watched so many submission videos in the past week since this is open that like 10 people have said that. It's hard to keep track.
So the $30 tier opened. It was like a couple weeks ago. I got 50-ish cards ready to send to PSA. I put them all in semi-rigids, and I had them sitting on my desk. And Pokemon Go, I got my Pokemon Go shipment, so I just never got around to actually filling out the PSA submission form. And so I never sent anything off at $30. But I had 50 ready to go, and I am so glad I didn't have the time to send those off.
I did.
So I would have been pissed if I had just sent those off. I feel bad for anyone who did a $30 per card submission.
And there was definitely quite a few people who did. I didn't send any at 30 either. I like 50 has been open since like January. So I did some plays with like grand parties. I did a handful of different submissions, small ones. I did some at 50. I did 0 at 30. Some of the things that I was cracking today, I might have to do at 30 or 50 just because of their value. But yeah, like now that we got through there, we talked about how many we send this month, how many we had sent before. What do you think will happen on August 1st? Will we go back to only 30 and 50 plus being opened? Or will they get so few this month? I've seen some people say 18 will just stay open forever. Like they're gauging demand. Some people think it will be low enough that they just 18's open forever.
I'm fairly confident that everyone and their mother is going to be submitting into PSA. We've waited a year and a half for sub $20 grading. Now it's here, and there's a lot of people who are saying they're going to send a lot of cards, but there's also people saying, well, it's sub 20, but now I want to wait for 17, 16, 15, whatever.
Yeah.
I really think those people are going to be hurting because I don't think we're going to see sub 20 again for at least later this year, November, December. Realistically, I don't think we're going to see sub 20 at all this year after this.
I think we could see it come back in the late fall, early winter. Maybe another just limited time special.
Mhm.
I think as long as they don't get too hammered, well, they're claiming that they're going to wait till December on this stuff anyways. So hopefully they still clear the pre-March 2021 backlog by the fall, as they're on target to, as they've said they would. And if they do that, I could see 18 coming back, 15, who knows, maybe by the end of the year. But getting those cards back, again, it will be 150 plus days if they actually hit their estimates. And then the big thing, I think, on people's minds, when 10?
I can so you and James have a bet the end of next year it'll be $10. I can I think they might raise it to like 12, but I can definitely see 10 to 12.
10 is a huge psychological barrier. So I'm sending 500-ish
Mhm.
at 18, and you're sending 500 to 1,000. If it was 1 month only, this month, for $10, how many would you send?
Oh, it would be a lot more than that. Because it's not just a psychological barrier. I only have so many cards that I can send at $18, but when you say pricing's now $10, that opens a lot of doors to just a lot of bulk cards that you can't grade
And
at 18.
if you had to estimate, like if it was,
It would be
you'd be limited just by
like
time, right?
5,000, 6,000. It would be a substantial amount more.
So demand is clearly exponentially increasing as price decreases. And there
Oh
are
yeah.
some people, as you said, some people aren't sending at 18. Everyone would be sending at 10.
Hmm.
Everyone. So I'm still confident. Like a lot of people have messaged me, hey, you said 10 wouldn't be open to the public, 10 or less wouldn't be open to the public before end of 2023. That's my bet with James. I say no, he says yes. I'm still confident I'm going to win that bet because I think 18. I think they open it, the backlog grows some amount. If they take in more than they grade this month, the backlog for the month grew. So I think they'll take
What you
in
say they're grading per month right now?
they're doing 800,000 per month roughly.
I would not be surprised if they got way over that.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, like big numbers are hard to like fully imagine. And
Yeah,
like
definitely.
you and I are 1,000. Are we 1/800th of the total demand for this month's special?
I find that very hard to believe.
It's so hard to conceptualize. Like we're two little Pokemon guys in a whole world of. It's impossible to estimate.
Yeah.
But yeah, to me, I think the backlog slightly grows because they take in more than 800,000.
Hmm.
On gemrate.com, the trailing 30 days is 870,000 they did. So a little more than 800,000. But then from there, I think they kind of go back to the 30 only. Maybe they open 25 or 20 later this year. Maybe they go back to the 18, whatever. But to me, in my mind, we get 20-ish back before the end of the year, and then we get 15-ish back early mid next year. And then it's all about an equilibrium. It's all about a steady state. They need to get in as much as they can grade. They need to get in 800,000 a month. If they get in more than that, the backlog grows, and that's bad. And they don't want to get into those silly scenarios where they're getting 2 million cards in a month that they only graded 800,000 cards. I can see 2023 progressing where they just, the new base, the new floor, at least for that year, at least for next year, is 15, maybe 12. And then they do the occasional special, knock a couple bucks off for the way they used to do it. Pokemon Mania, Pokemon only 750.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pre 55 sports, post 2000 sport. Like they would do niche categories for a
Yeah.
special.
Yep.
monthly specials for a while, and then it went quarterly, and then everything was gone. So I don't think there will be a bulk service fully open to the public for 10 before 2024. Could we get a special? I need to go back and I need to look at the exact wording of our bet. I think if it's a special only for like $9.99 a card, I think it needs to be a fully open bulk level.
Oh, fully opened, huh? So it can't be like like the lottery systems.
I don't think. I think if it's a $10 lottery, I think I win. I think it needs to be fully open. I need to go back and look at. I have a screenshot somewhere of our bet, and plus it's in Discord still.
So I don't. The fully opened at $10. That's tricky there. Because $10 specials, $10 lotteries, I can definitely see. But fully opened that's a tough one. I could possibly see it, yes. But then, like I said, I could also see the new $10 being $12.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Like here's a post I made on June 6th saying, absolute best case scenario, we could get $20 lotteries by December or January, but I'd be pretty surprised. Here we are in July. Here we are in July, and we have 18. So clearly, I was wrong there.
Just shows how right you are.
But to me, like one disclaimer that I was always making: if PSA is willing to go a year again or over 6 months again with their turnaround time, anything's fair. They could open $8 tomorrow if they were that stupid.
I don't think they ever would, because they don't like being in this position.
I don't think they would, but I didn't think they'd open up a service level that would grow the backlog again. And I think this one will. Maybe I'm wrong, but a year and a half.
I think this one. Go ahead.
A year and a half of pent up demand. 18. I think they're going to take in more than 800,000.
I think this one's justified though, just because you have people working for PSA right now who, like the people who, I don't know the PSA process and what they do, but I'm sure there's like people who are specifically hired. You're just going to be entering each package that we receive into the system. What are those people doing at work right now? So instead of like laying off all these people who don't have jobs right now, because really the only people working are the people grading and encasing the cards. Instead of laying all these people off and then having to rehire a whole bunch of people, why don't they get an influx of cards to get these people back to work again? And that'll probably take a couple months to actually get everything entered into the system. And by that time, the backlog will be clearing. So now the graders will have a job. It's all part of their flow. They got this all planned out. It's all part of their master plan.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. To me, there's too much. And one thing that's really helping PSA, CGC is grading a ton of cards. They're not grading as much as PSA, but CGC has graded in the time span that PSA has been in rough shape. CGC has graded millions of cards. Those are millions of cards that would have been just piled into PSA's backlog. And SGC has scaled up, and BGS, and all these companies are scaling up in tandem. So, I mean, even the basement grading companies, I mean, some amount of CGC slabs are getting cracked to go to PSA still. So like they didn't save them there. But yeah, it's like everything else. It's just fascinating to follow. And it's crazy out there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens going forward. It'll be it'll be really interesting to hear PSA's podcast come early August to see, because I'm sure they'll mention we got so many cards for this July special. So that'll be really interesting to see. I have a feeling it's going to be a big number, just because so many people have been setting cards aside.
Yeah, it's and the thing that I have no concept of is where is the sports market is in the tanks. Like there are some base prisms that used to be 4 figures that are now like $15 in PSA 10 or something. So maybe the pent up sports demand isn't what I think it would be in my mind. Maybe they don't just unleash everything. But people are $10 is still, you can send a lot. You can send
Oh yeah.
a few more years of like 10 million PSA cards every year. I think the slab premium will just start to go away. Like people are paying a premium on anything, way too much.
Oh well, it won't be like today where you can sell like
bulk slabs for
$5
$13 a piece
or whatever for $40.
Yeah.
But it won't, like 9s and 10s, especially 10s. I think 10s you would within reason almost always make money.
Right now, one thing that's kind of surprising me, because I really love the Amazing Rares, there are PSA 10 Amazing Rares not selling. Buy it now for $20, $22. That's kind of crazy. I mean, it is a $1 card, but like those cards are beautiful, and some of them are not selling for $22 by now.
I'm surprised, but that one does surprise me. You were talking about that earlier today. I think.
Yeah,
maybe it's just a deja vu moment, but that one does surprise me. Where PSA 10s Amazing Rares aren't selling,
and I guess the low list currently, there's a Roku right now, Vivid Voltage Amazing Rare PSA 10 for $24 shipped free.
You would think that would sell.
Yeah, and there's like quantity. Let's see what the pop report is.
I'm sure it's very big.
Let me pull up PokeData.
I wonder if there's a spike with the Kyogre, because that was the one Scott talked about, SM Proud, on his Patreon way back.
Yeah,
that'd be funny if they were all like 10,000 copies, and then Kyogre's like 30,000 copies.
Well, Josh is probably propping up that market too, buying the $500 black label or whatever he bought.
That is true.
Oh man, not gonna let him live that down. Here, I'll pull up the PokeData for Vivid Voltage. Why is it loading so long? Sorry for my Deep Woods internet again.
Suppose we'll forgive you.
I don't know what it's doing.
Now, is this site more accurate than Pokemon Price? Because there was a certain YouTuber who just came back, and he was quoting Pokemon Price, saying there were only 300 sales of Pokemon cards in whatever month.
I saw that.
I didn't even catch it until James and Cam's live, and then I actually went back and watched the video again, and got a good kick out of that.
Oh, I'm not logged in. There we go. Oh wow! So there are 4,000 almost PSA 10s. That's more than I would have guessed, but this did come out.
I'm surprised because Vivid Voltage was right around. That was like 19, wasn't it?
People snuck those in. I guess right before PSA closed.
Yeah.
Vivid Voltage released on September 2020 or November 2020. Yeah. So people snuck. I didn't grade any of them with PSA personally. Maybe a few, but a lot of people did. A lot of people snuck them in. And yeah, PSA 9s for $13.50.
Yeah.
Somehow PSA 8s are going for more than PSA 9s. Oh man. But yeah, that's I guess there's still a little bit of a margin there, but not much.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you'd have to be sending those at 10, sub 10 to make anything.
Right up until March of 2021, before they up through February, the special was 10, and then they doubled it for March, and then they closed it after March, like March 31st, they closed it because they doubled the price, and then everyone saw the writing on the wall. I personally didn't send under the double price in March, but like March of 2021, the prices doubled, and then the submissions like 10x, and they had to shut down. So yeah, I mean, prices have come down on a lot of things, Pokemon, sports, everywhere, since March of 2021. But in March of 2021, millions and millions of cards entered the backlog in that 1 month alone. It's crazy. Like
I was part of that.
600 something thousand in one day. I remember he mentioned.
That's absurd.
Yeah, crazy. And I think if you did 750 tomorrow, it could get ugly. Like there would be a lot coming. Maybe they wouldn't redo the 600,000 in a day.
I was gonna ask you. Do you think if PSA opened up right now at 750 a card, would they get as many cards as they did back in February, March 2021?
Probably not, because I think a lot of people saw the writing on the wall. Like I did, because I didn't necessarily know that they'd close, but I knew the prices would have to go up substantially because the backlog was just unbelievable. It was unbelievable how many cards they decided to take in, how they didn't close it slower. My speculation has always been they were being sold. Maybe they couldn't do a drastic maneuver like that, whatever. But yeah, absolutely crazy how many they took in. I don't think they'd get that many today just because prices are so low. But like the things that Marvel's doing, the things that all these other card games that we're not into, like there are a lot of crazy plastic premiums out there. Never punished. ZNG Emporium, like at 750, it is very hard to get punished. It's crazy.
Yeah, it really is for sure. Yeah, I pretty much think the same thing though. I don't think you'd see as much of a flood in the PSA with the pricing the way it has been going, and then just the amount of people who have left all the hobbies, who are just in it to try and get rich quick. I think there'd be a lot less cards.
Yeah. Just the nature though of like, I mean, not for amazing rares clearly, but the nature of the premium that some people pay on 10s. You take a $30 card raw, pay $10 to grade it, and then it's like $100 on a PSA 10. That's still happening on a lot of cards, and it just doesn't make sense. As long as that happens, who cares if a lot of PSA 9s lose you all your money? If you lose $10 on a PSA 9 and you make 50 on a 10, as long as you're grading more than 20% PSA 10s, I mean, you're making more money. And it's the PSA, the graded premium is probably always going to be higher than I feel like it should be, which is great for business. So yeah.
Yeah, no, graded is always going to have, especially 10s. That's always going to have a substantial premium. You're never going to get people to change their thinking on that.
And the thing, like I talk about it in ways that, like, if people listened to me and believed me and followed what I said, the premium would go away, because I don't personally pay it, except for the reason that, like, I know I can sell it at a premium. But like I say it against my own like I don't want it to go away because I profit a lot from it. Like I love selling 10s for a bunch of money. It's like, okay, my 9 looks the same. I'll sell the 10 for this, and again, maybe I'll make a bunch of my 9s 10s. Maybe I won't. But to me, the 10 premium on an amazing rare is not crazy. To pay an extra $10 to go from a 9 to a 10, to pay 15 for a 9 and 25 for a 10, that's not crazy to me.
No, I would hope not.
It's like a 66% premium, but it's only in absolute terms, it's only $10. So that's reasonable. But hundreds or thousands of dollars, I don't care what the pops are. Like, to me, it's just not worth it. But to people it is, so that's fine too. Pay for what you value and don't pay for if you don't see the value.
That's what it comes down to, pretty much.
Yep. We did have a couple topics. The big upcoming auctions: Golden, Heritage, PWCC. Nothing like June. June was crazy. Everything was there.
That was a lot.
But quite a few things. I guess I can just share screen and show some, right?
Yeah. I'm most curious about the I don't know who's auctioning it, but the Protostoise, the one with the Blastoise with the magic back. That'll be I have no interest in buying the card whatsoever, but it'll be really interesting to see where that one ends up compared to the last few sales.
Yeah.
With the market that we're in right now.
I'm doing some of those stupid CAPTCHA things where I gotta like pick the traffic lights, and so I'll spare everyone that. But I'm working on getting PWCC and Heritage and everything pulled up.
They think you're a robot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. We have another PSA 10 Charizard coming up. Another first edition base box coming up. And my initial thoughts on that would be I don't know when people are going to realize that they need to stop auctioning these things and just wait to sell them or list them as buy it nows. Because if people keep auctioning all this stuff, pricing is just going to continue to go down.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. Like, if you have one and you like today's number better than like maybe 50% of today's number, you might as well auction it today before it goes down 50% more. I mean, if I somehow lucked out and I cracked out a PSA 9 Charizard and sent it in and graded a 10, I would not remotely think about, oh, if I hold it, if I do that, I would auction that bad boy. If I only got 200,000, 250, I don't care. Like, I just cracked out a $25,000 card and either 6 to 20 times my money. Give me it.
Yeah, but then you also, like, nobody's cracking PSA 9 Zards and upgrading them over to a 10. How many? You wonder where are these copies coming from? Like, how much do these people pay for these copies? Are they still like cards that people bought back when they were like 10, 20,000, 50,000?
Oh yeah, I mean, if you look, like, we had a lot of cards come, but we had a lot of base verse 10 Charizards come up in the past 2 years, relatively speaking. But still, what's the pop? 105, 110. We haven't had
120, 121.
We haven't had 50 come up in the past 2 years.
Past 2 years,
not 50.
I bet there's been at least 50.
Base first 10 Charizards?
In the past 2 years? There was some months where you had one on PWCC and Heritage at the same time.
Yeah, but I don't know. Say 50 came up. I don't think 50 did. If 50 came up, 70 didn't. And though, like, there are some out there still with a cost basis of $700, $1,000, $5,000. Like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
their cost basis, Pokédata doesn't go back super far. But yeah, like 2019, they sold for 40. 2018, they sold for 26.
Yep. Yep.
20,000. I remember when they were $5,000. Like, this goes back to 2016 and they were 8,800. I remember when they were $5,000 and I like talked to my dad about it. He could have so easily bought one. Like, he had that much free cash easily.
Yep.
And like there are a lot of them out there. And this is this one card. Like, when you look at the Japanese trophies, when you look at whatever, like, most cards haven't sold since the prices have been crazy. Most cards out there are just sitting idle still.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whether you're looking at Pop 4 Rocket Unlimited Magneton, or whether you're looking at a Pop 120 PSA 10 first Charizard, a lot of them haven't sold, and a lot of them have super low cost bases. So if I'm sitting on a card, people are weird. When prices are sky high, people want to buy so that, like, when cards have 10x, people want to buy so that they can catch the next double. And then when cards are falling, they want to sell them before they fall further. So, like, people love to buy high and sell low.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a super weird psychological thing. I don't know, but it's likely never going to change. And yeah, so here's Heritage opening September 6th. So we still have a long ways to go. But they have a 1 cert PSA 10 Charizard, and they have the 7.5 Protostoise. Let's check this Charizard.
Is that the one you saw?
I saw a 6.5, I think.
Oh, okay.
This does have a magic back.
Yeah. Yep.
I believe I saw magic back 6.5. One that actually sold. I think I saw one that publicly sold a while ago.
Charizard actually looks good.
Yeah, I mean, this looks pretty clean.
For a 1 cert, definitely.
Yeah, like, I'm hyper zoomed in here, and I'm not seeing too much.
No.
That's probably on the, like, these are probably on the case.
Yeah.
Centering, though, I mean, this left border is a little bit heavier. Well within 10 parameters.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this thing looks nice.
Yeah, that's definitely a solid 10. Heard it here first. You won't be able to argue that it was a weak copy.
Yeah.
If it sells for less than the last one.
Bunch of graded games. But yeah, Golden currently has nothing too crazy, but they've got a handful of stuff ending tomorrow night, the same night this podcast goes live. This one's interesting because a set of the 3 lower grades, like, this is a PSA 9, none are graded higher. So 5 are graded PSA 9, none higher. What do you think this will go? It's a number 3. It's the Chunky Chew. A lot of people like that one.
Yep.
The set of 3 in lower grades, 1, 2, 3, went for $480 with buyer's premium.
Yep. I'm gonna say 175.
I think I guessed, somebody was talking about it in Discord earlier. I think I guessed did I guess 150? Or maybe I guessed 180. Maybe I guessed 150 plus buyer's premium, so 180. I don't remember.
Oh, yeah, my 175 is all in with the buyer's premium.
I feel like anywhere between 150 and 200 feels most reasonable.
Well, you can't be putting a $50,000 range in there. This is the Price is Right, or the Price is Right.
Let's say 200,000. To me, like, what this card should go for relative to what some other cards have. This card this card should be, to me, worth more than a PSA 10 first edition Charizard. It's not going to be, probably, but it should be. Like, there are tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands base first Charizards printed. There are 120 in that 10 grade. Maybe a super strong copy should go for more than this, but like a lot of those weaker 10s that go for 200, 300,000 still, to me, like, give me this card over a PSA 10 base first Charizard if I can't sell it, if I have to keep it forever.
See, I would much prefer the base Charizard.
I already have base Charizards. I've owned more base Charizards than exist of this card.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, I have currently the only, I only have one, a CGC 8. I have it right here somewhere. I have a CGC 8 first edition base Charizard that's cleaner than the PSA 9 that I sold a few months ago. And to me, like, give me, like, I would take the 8 or a 9 plus this card. Like, why do I want this card in a 10, of which 120 exist, when I can have, like, history? When I can, and again, there's no right or wrong answer. It's all what you value. It's all what you want. I'm not trying to say you're wrong and I'm right, but like, to me, it is so easy. Give me this card plus a PSA 9 or a CGC 8, whatever, Charizard, all day long.
Yeah, but who knows about Pika trophies? People in Pokemon. People, like, deep in Pokemon.
Yeah, I don't care about who knows
about
what.
Charizard? Like, every single person on Earth.
I don't care about other people and what they know or care. Like, I want this one for me. Like, again, if you have to have one in your collection forever and you can never sell it, I don't care what people know about this one, or like, I have the Charizard already. I can be one of X amount of people, like, in the world that have this, and like, these for me are the great, like, above Illustrator for me. These cards, the 1, 2, 3 originals from 97, 98. That's just me though, and no, like, the market's more right than I am, because the market is like the sum of everyone. The market is the sum of everyone's opinions and wallets. But yeah, you give me $1 million to go shopping in the hobby, I'm not buying PSA 10 first edition Charizard. I'm not buying.
I don't think I would ever buy one. But if someone came up to me and said, you could either have this PSA 10 Charizard or this PSA 9 Pika Trophy, I would go for the Charizard.
Not me. like if you could go on $1 million shopping spree and you didn't have the ability to sell any of it after, would you buy like one mega card? Like, would you buy a PSA 9 Illustrator, or would you buy like as many things as you can for it? Or
I would definitely buy as much as I could. I'm definitely the what is it? The
quantity over
quality. Yeah.
Yet you'd take a PSA 10 first edition Charizard
over a Pika Trophy that I can't even read because I can't read Japanese. I love that argument.
But you already have a PSA first edition Charizard.
Yeah, but it's not the 10.
Ugh.
See, there's certain cards where there's certain cards where I do value, like, the PSA 10 opinion.
I don't ever.
Like, just to have the best of the best.
It's not always though.
Well, no, the label says it is though, so it is. like no,
literally perfect.
If that PSA 10 copy is like PSA 1 condition, I would still pay a crazy amount of money for it. It could literally be bent in half, and if it says PSA 10 on the label
buyer, I love label buyers.
And I'm sure Zach is the same way with Ampharos.
I asked him
at this point, if a creased Ampharos comes through as a 10, he'd probably pay an absurd amount for it.
I asked him once. I'm like, if I somehow grade 1, just if it's like a 4, I'm like, you're still paying me $5,000 for that, right? Absolutely. Like he's like, I won't like it and I won't, but oh yeah, he would buy a label to finish his collection for sure. But if it was a strong 10, if it was a real 10, his offer probably would be higher. But if you really
Yeah.
if you really ground him down, you could probably get him to pay almost the same amount of money for a really ugly one too. But yeah, to me, like Protostoist doesn't do anything for me. It's an oddball off, whatever. But like, give me $1 million to shop in the hobby, and I'm gonna have lower condition, but I'm gonna have one of almost everything except for like an illustrator, and I'll be fine with it. Like, give me one of the 3 original. Give me that lot for 480. And the thing is, you couldn't get it. It went for 480. But it was to that Chinese guy who's like super rich, whatever. He could have bid. He could have bid $1 million.
Yeah.
So like, if I had $1 million and I bid 900K on that, I could have lost. Like I could have doubled the price of that alone. One other bidder, theoretically, maybe his max bid was only 500K all in. Maybe he was right there, or maybe it was double.
Yeah, we'll never know
unless he posts a lot of screenshots of bids and stuff.
That is true. He is very open about that stuff.
Maybe he'll post that screenshot of like his winning bid and how much lower or how much higher it was. Who knows though? But yeah, super interesting. I mean, I'm never gonna have to worry about going shopping for cards like this, but it's interesting to think about it and talk about it.
Fun to imagine winning the lottery one of these days.
Yeah.
We did have one. I don't know if we have any more topics, but there was one thing I thought of while we were talking about something. Is the Eevee Heroes reprint?
Oh yeah.
I'm excited for that one. So for those of you who don't know, supposedly September we're gonna be getting a Eevee Heroes reprint, which is exciting news. At least for me, I'm excited about it. Box prices they've gone down slightly. They were like 180, 200 on eBay before the announcement. Like people heard about the announcement. Now they're like 160, 180. So they've come down a little bit, but not much. I've sold a few of my boxes. I haven't sold many of them. I have 50 right now. I'm thinking like sell half of them and buy them back for a little bit cheaper. It would be nice to buy them back for like half the cost, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm curious to see like what will the price be if they do a reprint? How big's the reprint going to be? I definitely would like to sell some of my boxes and then definitely rebuy them back and probably buy more.
Yeah. I think I only have, I don't even remember. I think I only bought 10 or 12.
You definitely have more than that.
Maybe.
I think because I think we each bought 20 at the same time.
That might be all I bought. I don't know. I need to find them. I have 10 at Evo, I think, and I sold a couple at 200. I don't know where they would be if I have more, but maybe I have more. I'll probably try to move what I have. One thing I'm not 100% sure. I saw things about a rumor. Is it 100% confirmed?
That's what I don't know. Because I've heard mixed messages there. I've heard some people say confirmed reprint. Other people say they've heard about a reprint. So I don't know what to believe on that one.
Yeah, the issue is it's like a game of telephone. One person, one article says there's a possibility that there might be. And then PokeTubers, PokeNews channel, whatever. Guaranteed reprint coming, sell everything. It's going like get ready to buy it. So like one thing comes out and then 20 things spawn off of it, and then you get like somebody taking a third order source, like not primary. It's like third or fourth or fifth down the line, quoting someone else's quote. So I'm not even 100% sure that it's guaranteed happening. That said, though, like I don't have a substantial position in it. So if I sell out of my position in the 160s, 180s, I'm making over $50 a box.
Mm-hmm.
And if I miss out, whatever, like it's not a huge deal. If I had 100, 200, 300, if I had a ton of boxes, I'd probably look deeper and I'd probably be more quickly making some kind of a play on it.
Yep.
But yeah, it's interesting. They did print 9.1 billion cards last year, so I don't know what kind of number they're going to print for 2022. I would guess less.
It'll be substantially less.
I would be highly shocked if they print. I would be highly shocked if they print over 8, but I would also be shocked if they print under. I don't think they'll go under like 4 or 5.
Well, I was gonna say, what was it? It was
2020. It was like 3.6-ish, or maybe.
Okay.
Let me.
I thought it was like 3.1.
I'll find it quick.
Because I was gonna say I wouldn't be surprised if we're double 2020. So like 6.
I'll find the exact number just to not throw bad numbers out there.
Yeah, we don't want to be lying here.
3.7. So 3.7 in 2021. 3.2 in 2020. So I think, or sorry, 9.1 was in fiscal 2021. 3.7 was in fiscal 2020. And 3.2 was in fiscal 2019. So fiscal 2022 from like, it's like April 1st, 2022 through March 31st, 2023. I think the number will be between 5 and 8, I'll say. It'll be fairly lower than this past year, but I think it'll be a decent bit higher still than 2020 and 2019.
Your ranges. I'm gonna guess between 1 million and 30 billion.
There's no, like, when people, honestly, when people even look at a card and say, oh, that's going to be a 9, when you guess, so like I say, oh, it's got a 60% chance at a 9, 20% chance at an 8, 20% chance at a 10. You've got to give ranges. You've got to give.
You can't give a range of 2 billion cards.
If people had guessed what 2021's print run was going to be, like I would have personally guessed higher than the 3.7. I probably would have guessed 4 to 6. And you would, 2 billion is way too big of a range. I would have been way off. Most people, I think, would have guessed like, oh, it's probably going to be 4. It's probably going to be 5. Like, guessing one single number for something that can vary. Like, ranges make sense in a guess like that because it's a complete wild guess. When I say 5 to 8, there's still a solid shot that it doesn't even land in my range.
Oh no, I think it'll definitely land. I'm gonna play the game fairly and say 6 to 6.5.
6,243,169,000 even. Like 5 to 8 billion. 5 to 8 billion. I'm sticking with it. I wonder how close they even track it. Like when they say 3, like they're only giving us 2 significant digits. So that tells you so, like they could have printed anywhere between 9.05 billion and 9.15 billion. So they're playing with a plus or minus like 50 million cards.
I'm sure they don't
track it down to the card.
No way. Not a chance.
They order the cards by the hundreds of millions Well, tens of millions at least. So yeah, they just round those all bulk at them together and come up with a 9.1. But yeah, it will be interesting to see what they do. I was really interested to see what they did this year, and 9.1 surprised everybody. Like,
Yeah, that was a big surprise.
that was crazy. And then in spite of that, like Evolving Skies is still really high. Brilliant Stars is still pretty high. Like there's only a handful of sets that are like satisfying demand or maybe too much for demand. Battle Styles, Chilling Reign, Fusion Strike, and
I would even say Shining Fates.
Shining Fates is getting hammered with the ETBs, yeah.
But that's like so the only good. Well, I guess you have Celebrations.
Well, Darkness Ablaze ETBs, Vivid Voltage ETBs, those got hammered too, but it's just the ETBs. So it's a weird dynamic.
Can come out this year.
Yeah, it's a weird.
I guess if you do fiscal year, then yeah, those are included, right?
So when they say 9.1 billion cards were printed in fiscal 2021, it wouldn't be only the sets that were released in that year. It would be all the sets in print.
Yeah,
they would have been printing some. They printed some Sun and Moon base when they did the Sun and Moon base re-release of ETBs.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
So yeah, when you're trying to estimate like how much was printed in a set, you need to take like multiple years print numbers and allocate it. It's very, very hard, impossible to do. But I have an estimate ongoing that I need to refine at some point. It's best guesses because that's all you can really do.
Yeah, you're never gonna get anywhere close, and we're never gonna actually know the actual numbers.
Definitely not.
That ship has sailed.
Yep. We had one last little thing that you had mentioned to me before we started recording.
Yeah. So I learned something new the other day. I had a PSA 10 Mega Charizard EX from the secret rare from Flashfire listed on eBay for 2,000. Someone wanted to buy it for 1,800. I said I would accept that offer because I sent this all in eBay messages, and I don't like to send them an auto reply with offer. I like to say, yeah, send me an offer with 1,800 and I'll accept because of the little price data. You get the little line through 2,000 versus if you whatever. So yeah, I said I'd accept 1,800. He says, okay, but why isn't it going through eBay's authenticity guarantee program? And I said, I'm really not sure why. So I ended up getting on the chatting with eBay online. Explain the situation. Why isn't this card qualifying for the eBay authenticity guarantee? And the rep that I spoke to was actually one of the few eBay reps who was straight to the point, was able to help me. It was a very refreshing experience. They basically said my item title had the card listed as PSA 10 Flashfire set secret rare Mega Charizard EX. And because I had the word set in the title, eBay has that as one of their keywords where set is assimilated with like being as part of a group or a lot. So it doesn't qualify for the authenticity guarantee. So if you're selling any graded cards and you want them to qualify for the authenticity guarantee, don't include the word set within your item title. Because the second I revised the listing and removed that word, the little blue check mark came up on my listing.
And it's weird to me that like if I listed a Flashfire card, I would never put Flashfire set. Like,
why not?
Like base set unlimited, base set first edition, Sword and Shield base set, Heart Gold Soul Silver base set. I get it for those ones, but like if I list Astral Radiance, if I list Furious Fist, Flashfire, Dark Explorers, I don't put set in any of those.
I do it if I have the room.
So to me, it was interesting that you threw set in like flash. Like, do people search flash fire set? Maybe.
I doubt it.
But it was funny to me. Like, in the Pokenomics, shout out Pokenomics Discord and Patreon. James, like a couple days ago, he does consignments. And he had like 4 or 5 high sales, well over the limit for authenticity guarantee, and he didn't know why they didn't go through it. And I looked all through mine. I think all of mine except for one high dollar one that was a base set first edition booster pack. It was thousands of dollars and it didn't go. So yeah, like once you told me that, I went back into Discord and I looked. I quoted it and I told him, so now he knows too. He got some insider scoop before watching the podcast 3 hours deep.
You should have just told him we answered your question somewhere in the podcast.
Yeah, watch the whole podcast because we answered it somewhere. I should have said that. But yeah, really interesting. So if you want something to, well, two things to take from that. If for whatever reason you want to omit the authenticity guarantee, there's a way around it. If for whatever reason you have ones that you don't know why they're going in, if you have, I'm assuming there's other keywords, maybe lot, maybe set, maybe group, I don't know. But yeah, play around with your title. If you have an item that's not showing up in it that you think should, remove any words along those lines, and then you might be able to fix it.
The more you know.
The more you know. 3 hours deep in PokeFlipz, bringing the value. So
yes. No, I thought that was interesting. No, I never realized that. But now it's like my item titles look like weird. Like I hate like base. I guess sounds okay, but like base 2, you can't put base set 2. That just sounds weird.
Your flash fire titles look better though, because now they don't say flash fire set. So some on your listings look better, some on your listings look worse. Fair.
I don't know. I've always just gone with the word set. Only if there's like, that's the first thing that I'll delete if there's not enough room.
Yeah, when you run into like the crazy long things, you got to start hacking out. So like gym challenge, a lot of times I'll just do gym chal, which is probably not great because a lot of people probably search gym challenge. But it's like if you have a PSA 10 gem mint Lieutenant Surge's Electabuzz, like that is so many things. And it's like, well, let's say Erica's Dragonair. That would be another one. If you have a PSA 10 gem mint Erica's Dragonair, first edition gym challenge, 4 out of 132.
Yeah.
What do you drop?
I dropped the gem mint.
So PSA 10.
Yeah.
Gym challenge. That's probably better than gym chal. My thinking is
who is searching gym chal?
Probably.
But
like,
I wonder would it come up if they typed in gym challenge.
Sometimes I do put PSA 10 gem mint to omit the people who put PSA 9 mint 10 question mark or something like that.
Yep.
I usually try to stay as broad as possible so you deal with a little bit of like riffraff, but you don't omit anything good. But yeah, with like gym challenge, or this is actually Gym Heroes, so I got apologies on that one. But there are similar.
I didn't even pick up on that either.
Yeah, there are long names in gym challenge that would apply.
And then these modern set cards are absolutely absurd.
Oh yeah, like if you want to get alternate R, just whatever.
Like no, the single strike or Urshifu VMAX or Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX.
Yeah.
Pokemon really needs to consider eBay when they name Pokemon.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. I had that conversation recently with an eBay rep too. I think I talked about it in a recent podcast or somewhere. When I list a card, I always do grading company, grade. So like PSA 10 gem mint. And then I do the species name and then the set. And then I do the number at the end. And there's probably an optimal for the algorithm. Does it want the name first and then the grade and then the grading company? Like Erica's Dragonair 10 PSA Gym Challenge First Edition and then Gem Mint at the end. Because like most people probably aren't putting Gem Mint in. The things that more people are putting in, you want sooner in the title.
Mm-hmm.
But like I have a format I've been using for a long time, and I sell a lot of cards, so it's hard to like do a complete revamp and just. I mean, you could just for a few weeks, every new card you list, do it in a new format and kind of gauge. But is that selling because they're new listings, or is it selling because of the new type? You're always gonna have questions. You can never know.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I've been doing it the same way for years, and I do not like change.
Yeah.
I'm very, very anti-change. Even there was something that changed recently. I forget what it was. I can't remember. Something that I use regularly changed. Like the layout changed, and I did not like it for the first few days. I forget what it was though.
I think like eBay messages, isn't there a new? I feel like there's new things that have changed, but I'm still on like the legacy one because they haven't made you yet.
I know. I don't think it's eBay. Because I know they are updating their like creating listings, like that whole template to create listings. And I actually did switch over to the new template, and I do like that one more than the old one. There's definitely some things that need to change, but yeah, no, I haven't seen the. I know there's an updated like eBay messages within the app,
Yeah, maybe that's what I was thinking of.
which that is I can't stand that. They tried to like make it it's more like text messaging now.
Yeah, I did. I haven't converted mine, or I don't use the app much. I use it a little
I
bit,
don't
but
either. Very, very rarely.
yeah, it'll probably come. It'll probably come to the PC at some point. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't understand people who use the eBay app. Bunch of weirdos.
Listing every one of their 800 listings each week through it. Crazy.
That's a waste of time.
Crazy people.
Well, that's about all I had. Did you have anything else for this one?
No. That's all I had. That's all the questions. That's all we had for topics. We're over 3 hours, so it's not a 4-hour marathon, but 3 hours. 3 hours is palatable, I think.
I'm honestly surprised we made it to 3 hours. I thought this was gonna be like a 2.5 hour.
I kind of did too. One thing that will be interesting, if and when we do go live, we'll have to figure out the exact time. But like, I've got a hard quitting time of 4:30, so we will. It'll be like sometimes it is difficult to leave when you've got 100 people in there, and you know people would hang out for like longer and longer. But if we pick one, we'll have a solid 3.5 hour block.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll just I mean we'll go as long as everything's active and lively, or we'll call it at 3.5. Will be like our standard. If we do 12:30, then we've got 4 hours.
12:30 is a little early. I'd have to wake up early that day. Because I like to do all my packaging in the morning, and then gotta have lunch at some point. Maybe I'll just bring my lunch to our live stream.
I normally do lunch at 12, so 12:30 would be like the soon. One is probably more comfortable.
Yeah,
because then if it's Thursday, I still am only doing packages Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so Thursday won't be a package day. You got all those 99-cent singles you gotta fulfill and ship out Thursday mornings.
And then I don't know what's going on with TCG Player Direct. They seem to be fulfilling less and less orders.
Oh, like you have to send them out
Like
yourself?
I have to send. So like Direct, they have so many cards, and if someone orders cards that they have, they'll fulfill that order, and then I, as a seller, reimburse TCG Player Direct every so often. But if someone orders, like, say they order like 5 cards, TCG Player Direct has 4 of the 5 cards, but they don't have one of those cards. Then that whole order goes to me, and I ship out that whole order. So recently, I've been shipping out more and more orders myself, which is such a pain in the butt. I've been doing like 20, 25 orders a day, and I used to be able to do like 10 every 2 days, which was a lot nicer. But I have been doing a lot more sealed like booster packs on TCG Player, so that factors in a decent bit of it, because TCG Direct doesn't do any sealed product. But then I realized after the fact that they also don't do specialty Pokemon sets, like Pokemon Go, for example. That was a miserable weekend.
So yeah, I guess you've got to decide, like, do you want to stop carrying the sealed booster packs and do them on your eBay instead? You'll probably sell less, but you won't have to fulfill as many yourself.
Yeah.
It'll be a balancing act.
Yeah, I could have, yeah. Gotta figure something out.
I guess they probably don't.
May have to switch back to Evo for sealed product.
They probably don't want to do sealed just to not have to deal with any potential authenticity concerns or resealing or whatever.
That is true.
Evo does it without any concern, without any issue.
I think it's just a matter of, I think I'd be curious to see, like, how big is TCG Player compared to Evo. I think Evo is just so much bigger, and that's why they do everything.
TCG Player is massive.
Are they?
As far as like gross sales, and TC, like, Troll and Toad is a platform. Evo takes everything in and does it all themselves. TCG Player has a bunch. They do it on behalf of other people. They get reimbursed. A lot of it is just more like eBay, though, too. Like, it's just individual sellers doing it on their own.
That is true.
TCG Player, let's see how many employees they have.
And they have been making some big moves. Like, they bought Roko Robots.
They just bought Channel Fireball. That's actually
I was gonna say they just bought Channel Fireball, and the binder POS, which I know Mason uses that.
Yeah,
but I didn't know what that one was. But Channel Fireball, that was a big one.
Yeah, Mason did a video on that.
Oh yeah, I definitely saw that video, Mason. No, I'm sorry, Mason.
TCG Player has an estimated 300 employees. It says Troll and Toad. I don't know if I can find an estimate. This is just random Google too. I don't know. Troll and Toad, it says approximately 200 to 500. I know you'll love that estimated range.
What was it? You estimating?
Yeah. So according to just a random Google search of not like we have no idea how reliable the sources are. They're in the same ballpark. But TCG Player is really close to me. If they would take all my inventory within their, like, I don't want it. You take it, you do it. I would love it because they're so close to me. I could like drop stuff off. They're like under an hour from me.
Might have to do a little drive by when I go out to visit you.
Yeah, they're right in Syracuse. I'm trying to look at the building and see how big it is.
Hopefully it's not like just this mom and pop shop.
It's a big building. The whole building, like Troll and Toad, is in a 1,000,000 square foot warehouse shared with Mad Al and some other places.
Mm-hmm.
So this is 300 feet.
Yeah, you're wondering. Oh, go ahead.
300 by 360. So it's only like 100. It's like 100,000 square feet. So it's like a tenth.
Yeah.
And it's shared with a bunch of other places too, like a FedEx, or that's a FedEx Dropbox. It looks like they're shared with like a library and a law firm.
Shared with a FedEx
Dropbox. No, yeah, let me screen share. They're shared with a couple different businesses. It looks like.
Oh. Dropbox takes up one little corner.
Yeah. So here's TCG Player. So here's Syracuse.
Okay.
Anyone familiar? And then you zoom in on TCG Player. It's this big building. There's like this Mackenzie Hughes LLP, FedEx Dropbox, Friends of the Central Library. So, like, is that a library or just their friends? Here's another lawyer.
Interesting.
But
either way, it's a lot smaller than Troll and Toad.
Yeah, here let's put our little dude on the street. Look at that.
I like the sign though.
A lot of glass.
Looks more official than Troll and Toad.
Hey, look, you can see the Google car with the camera on it.
I like it
because of all their windows. So since we're looking at TCG Player, now we might as well look at Mad Al. Or sorry, Troll and Toad. Same thing.
But yeah, I guess the majority of TCG Player's business is people like individual seller, like eBay, versus where Troll and Toad is they're doing everything themselves.
Yeah. So here's I didn't do the measurement. Let me go back. So this building is roughly 300 by 300, 100,000 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
Troll and Toad, 1,145 feet by 900-ish square feet. So roughly 1,000,000 square feet. And that's, you can see Troll and Toad, Old Uncle Porkers. I have no idea what that is. And then Mad Al Distribution.
Man.
If you've made it with us to stalking these companies on Google Maps, leave an Old Uncle Porkers in the chat.
Speaking of leaving something in the chat, I was surprised by how many people left the Never Punished in the chat last week. Or 2 weeks ago.
Our metrics do say that we have like 200 people. Why is that blurred?
Must be top secret.
Whoa.
Area 51 right there.
What's going on across from Troll and Toad?
Big government installation. UFOs and all that.
But yeah,
it was probably just raining that day. It's a big patch of fog.
Well, there's Troll and Toad.
Oh.
A lot of cars there.
Yeah,
yeah, just this massive.
I will say TCG Player definitely looks a lot nicer from the outside.
Oh no, it's still blurred. What is there? It's these buildings, isn't it?
I think so.
Those are top secret. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know how we got there, but Troll and Toad is huge, and TCG Player, physical size, and they're shared buildings, so who knows how many square feet Troll and Toad is using of that 1,000,000, and who knows how many square feet of that 100,000, and maybe that could be 3 stories, that could be 300,000 square feet. I mean,
yeah.
Who knows? I know the building I used to work in before I quit my job to sell Pokemon cards was We were 180,000 square feet, I think.
That's absurd.
It was a big building. Very big building.
I can't even imagine. How do you like figure out where to go? How do you I've never had a job in like a big place.
You had a job on the ocean. You could go 3,000 miles in one direction and not hit or see land.
You could only walk 600 feet in one direction before you were going swimming.
That ship is big. Like 180,000 square feet. I think my building, because it had 2 stories for part of it, like the office space was 2 stories. I think the building was like, I mean, that's 400 by 400 would be 160,000 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
So your ship was 600 by, I don't know how wide it would have been, but I mean, that's maybe a big like vessel.
40 feet.
That's a big vessel though, too. I mean,
oh yeah.
And how many decks were there?
That one just had one.
Oh,
like the whole like blue portion with the cranes. It has one like where you can put containers on the top, and then below that is just a giant cargo area.
Oh,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I went on a cruise to Alaska. I don't remember how big that ship was, but then like so many decks. That was crazy. That was huge. Square footage on those.
Yeah, that's true. I bet cruise ships, yeah, because those pretty much it's like a hotel. So every deck has pretty much the whole length of the ship.
This shows the weights of a largest cruise ship, but cruise ships today average 1,100 feet long, 200 feet wide. So that right there is
massive.
That's 200,000 square feet per level, and there's like more than 10 levels on a lot of them. Yeah, that's massive. We're really getting out there though. Probably about time to wrap up.
Oh man.
So yeah, appreciate everyone watching as always. Don't forget, next episode 2 weeks from today, it'll be going live with special guest Echo Base Collectibles. Feel free to leave questions below if you have them for us or for Joe. A month from now, approximately 4 weeks, look forward to a live podcast. If we need to figure out, I'm assuming we're going to use OBS now, since I'm a professional audio, video, like editor, all that stuff, YouTuber.
Finally, I get to sit back and relax while you do everything.
Yeah, we won't have to do the download, upload, all that trimming and all that stuff the next day. We'll just be able to, boom, it's live, it's up. You guys are good. But yeah, anything else to wrap up?
No, I think I'm good. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed.
Like, sub, affiliate links, Patreons, all those things, all those good things. But yeah, other than that, we will see you all in 2 weeks, and we will catch you all later.